The drama goes way beyond the videotaping of this playwright's opening night.
The night of the play, Frederick came in like 30 minutes late.
I actually came in 10 minutes late.
Wait, so he came late and left early?
And later, this couple did major work on the house they were renting.
Windows had to be replaced. Concrete had to be installed in the doorframe in the basement, patches, holes. There were numerous things.
But when they asked the landlord for their deposit back, he said no way.
Me and my wife drove by and my jaw just literally dropped when I saw my fence that they were supposed to install. I mean, it looks like a chicken fence.
The only thing you have in writing about the fence is that a fence is installed.
Jay Tenant is suing a videographer for a refund on a show she hired him to tape. Defendant Frederick Burnham says he owes her nothing because she didn't understand the process and she harassed him.
Remain seated and come to order. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Your Honor, this case is Tenant versus Burnham.
Thank you, Barbara. Okay, Ms. Jay Tenant?
Yes.
You are suing the defendant, Frederick Burnham,
Yes.
for $550 to refund you for the work he did to create a DVD of a stage play you created?
Yes.
Okay, why don't you tell me what happened?
Actually, I'm gonna go back 10 years ago when I wrote my first stage play. Okay, I wrote it as a fundraiser for my church. And so at the time, we didn't have enough people in our church to bring this stage play forward. As the play sat back there, the church got bigger and bigger. And so my bishop brought out the play and said, "Now, Sister Tenant, I think it's time we put this play on." So I said, yes, this is it. I get a chance to put it out.
What's the name of the play?
Is there an answer?
Okay.
Anyway.
Can you tell me a little bit about what the play is about?
Yes, it's about chaos that's going on all around the church as well as on the inside. And so with everything going on, this deacon in the church, he's not doing what he's supposed to do, so everybody's looking for an answer. And so at the end, Jesus is the answer.
Okay. So you try to call out the deacons a little bit?
Yeah, the deacons and everybody else that was around that church too. The bench warmers and everybody else.
Okay.
That was all that.
Okay, that's great. So you're like the female Tyler Perry.
I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to get there, believe me.
Okay. Well, everyone has to start somewhere, right?
Right.
Everyone has to start somewhere.
Right.
So good for you.
Yeah.
So at some point you meet the defendant and decide to hire him to record your play so you could sell DVDs and have it memorialized?
Right.
Okay, tell me about that agreement.
Okay, to not only record, he's supposed to give me a DVD.
That's not true.
And that, yes, it is, Fred.
I'm supposed to shoot the footage.
That is
so
what
you
we
can send
agreed
it
to.
out.
Okay,
to
Sister
get
Tenant.
a DVD
I'm supposed to give her the-
and
I'm supposed to give her the
DVD, Your Honor, from the DVD,
I don't think she understands how the
he was going
process
to make
works.
other DVDs so I can sell at the play and also at a red carpet event that I lost sales on.
Okay, so why don't we start from the beginning? How do you know the defendant? Is he a church member as well?
Oh, God, no.
I'm a church member, just not her church.
I don't know.
So how do you
I don't
know
know with all these fibs. Okay.
So how do you know him?
Okay, my stepdaughter.
Okay.
I asked her, does she know somebody who does videos? And she told me about Frederick.
Is that your business? Is that what you do?
Yes, I do full multimedia flyers, graphic design, and video. This is my 3rd year in my business. This is the only unhappy customer that I have.
So what was the agreement? What was the price and what did he agree to do?
Okay, the price was $450, and that was to shoot the video and give me a DVD.
Okay, and do you agree to that?
No, I don't agree to that.
Well, was the price $450?
Yeah, it was $450. I was hired to shoot the play and to provide a medium where she can get it duplicated.
So you were to record it for $450 and provide her with a way to make copies so she could sell
so she
DVDs.
duplicated and
so
No
what happened?
way, Your Honor. Let me tell you, who would work on video for 6 months?
Tell me what happened.
6
Take me back
months.
Okay.
to the night of the play. You said that's when things
Okay,
got bad.
the night of the
what
play,
happened?
Frederick came in like 30 minutes late.
I actually came in 10 minutes late.
No, it was 30 minutes late.
It took me
My
extra 10 minutes to
Minister
set
of
up.
Music, videos, the whole thing.
What, had the play started?
Yes. Professional, mind you.
Sir, you missed recording the first part
Yeah,
of the day?
I missed the
That's
first
not
part.
it.
They were in a new.
Why?
They were in a new church. I knew the address, but it's not on like Google Map. You can't just put the address into Google Map like you would normally do.
You have to understand, you missed the
Right.
first 10 minutes of the play. That's
not it.
inexcusable if your job is to record the
I
play.
mean, I don't have. I wouldn't have excuse for that, but that's the reason that I missed it.
It's not really a great reason.
It's not.
All right,
It's
go
not.
ahead.
I agree with
And
that.
he closed down before the play was over. He's supposed.
Wait, so he came late and left early?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that what you do when you go to church
I
all the
didn't leave early.
time?
See, that's the thing though. I recorded the whole play. She's talking about that I missed the curtain call.
That's
That-
professional.
She,
you know,
she
sir,
didn't
that's
discuss
a
that
part.
she wanted the curtain
Curtain
call.
call is
They
a
turned on the lights and cheering and everything
job.
like the play was over.
A curtain
So
call.
when they turn on the
It's
lights and start
professional.
cheering, you don't talk to anyone. You just pack up your stuff and leave.
That's what he did.
That's not what I
Exactly.
did.
Because you missed
That's
the curtain
exactly.
call, right?
Yeah, I missed the curtain call.
Okay,
but
that's strike two.
He missed the
ahead.
curtain call. Well,
My understanding is I was supposed to
professionals
get the play.
know that the play began at the beginning and it ends at the end of the curtain call. You see what I'm saying?
Coming up on Judge Faith, does neglect lead to threats?
You've been watched. I know everything about you. So in court, I will see you.
Who did you have watching him, ma'am?
And later,
One of the steps going up, I guess they're just little things.
Your Honor,
Did you
he
do
did
that?
that himself. In the video
That's
on the
important.
day that we left, you can see going up the stairs that carpet is not like that
That's
at
right
all.
by the railing.
Let me see the video.
plaintiff Jay Tarrant is suing for the refund of money paid for video services. Defendant Frederick Burnham says the plaintiff harassed him.
What he actually recorded, was that at least good footage?
No,
Okay.
it was not. I'm going to tell you now, my Minister of Music recorded better than he did.
That is not
And
true.
when he would pan in, it was jerky. It was jerky on the footage. And there was sometimes the heads was cut off on his footage. This is not the DVD.
It's only one time a
This
head was
is
cut
not
off
the
because.
DVD. No, Frederick.
Look, check
What?
this out.
You can't.
Listen. I came for the rehearsal,
No.
right? They didn't
No,
have
Frederick.
everybody for the rehearsal. So I come to the play.
That's always.
They got somebody run from the back that's at the bottom of the stage. The play was only supposed to be on the stage.
Do you have a copy of the DVD, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay, let's take a look.
There's
Let's take a
some.
look at the footage. Out of focus.
That's not my footage.
I mean, I just can't get over the three audience members whose heads are in the
I was
bottom
going
of
to
the...
mention that.
that's
Look
how-
like
that's how
a
it was
thief
set
in a
up.
movie theater.
That's how it was set up. That's how
I mean,
she
this looks kind of like one of those bootleg DVDs you buy off
you.
the
But that's
street
not my footage.
where someone's sitting in the movie theater recording in the back. So what happened? You get the footage. What's the problem after that?
Every DVD that he tried to present to me had something wrong with it.
Okay, and the problem was it wasn't a complete DVD at that time?
It was, but movie was separate. I don't know what
Well, how did you get the
it.
footage that you missed to include on the DVD?
That's the footage we just seen that her minister
That's
shot.
not it.
And
That's
she
not it.
agreed that we
That's
would
not
use
it.
that beginning of the footage
That's not it.
for that time that I missed.
You put it together, so you
Yes, I put it
piecemealed the play
Right.
together
Thank you.
using various other
Yes.
people's footage
Professional.
that you missed.
Yes.
Professional.
And what is your reason for not refunding Miss
My main
Tarrant?
reason is she's pretty much new, so she didn't understand the process of everything. And then
No!
and then in the midst of everything, she started trying to leave little side threats on my voicemail and saying this, that, and the third, saying she got
I
people
told
watching
him I
me.
was going to bring him to court because he was
She
not
said she had
giving me
people
what we
watching me,
agreed
and-
to.
So what was the ultimate problem with the DVD?
It would play, it would freeze, it was the video, people would separate. I don't know what you call that. I call them
I don't know
glitches.
nothing about
Okay,
that.
It
and
would
tell
be
me about
like
the voicemail
square.
you say she
no,
left you.
you don't.
We have a copy
because
of the voicemail.
I invited him to
Tell
come
me
over
about the
to
voicemail
watch.
you say she left you. Did you bring that with you?
Yes.
I
yes.
May I hear
invited
it,
him to
please?
come over to watch the DVD. He never would.
Okay, Fred, I see the game that you're trying to play. I know everything about you. And how would you like for somebody to treat your mother or your wife like this? But that's okay. You've done it. You've been watched. I know everything about you. So in court, I will see you. Okay,
I had
bye.
to keep up with him. He was running. He wouldn't
I
answer
was
my
running. I respond to every call and text
So, ma'am,
until I got
ma'am,
the threats.
call. Right
Who did
here.
you have watching him, ma'am?
Me. I was keeping up
Okay, all right. Mr. Burnham, you should have been there early enough to catch it from the very beginning.
Right.
She shouldn't have to pay you for your services when she had to piecemeal the DVD together to
Right.
put it together in the first place because you came in late and you left early. And how much in sales did you lose on this, Ms. Tarrant?
I'm going to say $100.
I'm going to order you, sir, to return $450 and refund the plaintiff on the amount that she paid you for the DVD, and also $100 in loss of DVD sales. So I'm going to order you to pay the plaintiff a total of $550 plus court costs as a refund, okay?
That's it. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
Plaintiff Kevin Smith and his fiancée Gabrielle Mink are suing their former landlord for the return of the deposit on a home they rented. Defendant Arman Okiev and his wife Liana Karakian say their tenants left their property a disaster, so they are keeping the deposit and countersuing for damages.
Plaintiffs, you say your former landlord owes you for a security deposit and loss of wages. You are suing him for $1,500. Mr. Ochiev, you say you don't owe the plaintiffs anything because they did not uphold their part of the lease agreement. In fact, you have a counterclaim for $5,407.42 for property damage. Okay, so why don't one of you start and tell me about the property?
Your
Describe it
Honor,
for me.
in February of 2013, I found the home on Craigslist. I was about 6 months pregnant at the time, and it was a cute little home. The contractors were still working on it. There are a few little minor repairs that needed to be done.
Okay, and so did you end up signing a lease?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a copy?
I do, and initially we had put down roughly $2,500 after the security deposit, first month's rent, and we had to pay for a stove.
How much was the security deposit?
The security deposit was $1,000.
And how much was your rent, monthly rent?
$915.
And this was a one-year lease?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Next on Judge Faith.
That was a clear hole, and when the inspector came down, that was actually, you could see out through it. On the other side
That was
of
a
it,
condition of him coming into the property.
Okay.
Plaintiff Kevin Smith and his fiancée Gabrielle Mink are suing their former landlord, Arman Okiev, and his wife for a full refund of their rental deposit. The defendants say the place was a disaster and are countersuing.
So what was the date you actually moved in?
We did not move in until April the 15th of 2013.
Okay, and that's
actually,
the date that the
we moved
lease
in
starts.
on the 21st, but the lease says it was the 15th. The only reason why we had to move in on the 21st was because he got the inspection, and then he gave me a list from the inspector stating that in order to move in, windows had to be replaced, concrete had to be installed in the door frame in the basement, patches, holes, and he told me that we cannot move in until they were done.
Okay, so at the end of the lease, was there a walkthrough?
He wasn't even in the right city. We moved out on the 12th of April. Our lease ended up on the 15th of April. And we did a final walkthrough by ourselves as we walked out the door.
Okay, so you never did a walkthrough with the defendant?
We never did.
But he contacted you a few days later and said that he was keeping your security deposit. Why did you keep their security deposit? What was your reason?
First of all, I apologize. I could not be there on the 14th of April to do an inspection because I was playing a gig in Kansas City, and I told him about this. I was there literally on the 15th, early in the morning. I came out there, and me and my wife, we drove by, and my jaw just literally dropped when I saw my fence that they were supposed to install. I mean, it looks like a chicken fence.
Well, tell me about that. You said they were supposed to install a fence. Was there an agreement to put in a fence?
I agreed with him and she volunteered about it. She brought up the idea.
Is this in the lease?
Initially, when we did the walkthrough, because I was 6 months pregnant and I'm about to have a small child, and the house was not enclosed, I asked if we could put in a fence because...
Do you have pictures of the work that you said
Yes,
you
I
did?
do, Your Honor.
Okay, because I want to see the
And Your
enhancements
Honor-
you made to the property, and I want to see that.
The deposit was going to be $1,500
describing.
and the rent was going to be $850. So we agreed that since we couldn't pay the $1,500 deposit, that we would pay more in rent every month. So we would
Yes.
pay $915 instead of the $850.
Made up for the $500.
And
What is this a photo of?
This is the basement. That was where the AC unit lines come in from the outside. That was a clear hole, and when the inspector came down, that was actually, you could see out through it. I patched that up myself,
Patched this up.
and on the other
That was
side
a
of it,
condition of him coming into the property in
Okay,
the
that's
first place.
fine.
I patched
that's
the
fine.
door
I just want
frame,
to be
too.
clear about the enhancements that they did, but you don't dispute this, right? That he
Okay.
did this work?
Yes.
Okay, next photo.
That's a window in the basement that it's And that's in glass blocks in the hall, and several of those blocks were broken out, and according to the St. Louis City Code, all of that had to be filled in on both sides because that there were glass, like, blocks there. You couldn't just put a piece, like one piece of glass there. It had to be double-sided.
Okay, next photo.
There was nothing, that top deck, there was nothing there. I actually customized the top part of it and painted it, sanded it down, installed it myself. There was nothing there.
That was the agreement we had for you to move in the house.
Well, I understand that you say that's the
inspection.
agreement. I want to see what the enhancements that they made. So it's not in dispute that they made these enhancements, but I want to be able to see them for myself. So I want to address your counterclaim now, because you're saying that when the plaintiffs moved out, there were a lot of damages to the home and that you had to rebuild the fence. What was the problem with the fence? I'm sorry, who are you?
I'm his wife and business partner.
Okay.
I'm Liana Kara-Kenyon.
Okay, why don't you have a seat for a second, ma'am? I want to go through some of the counterclaim with your husband. So what was the issue with the fence?
The fence was real too thin, okay? No gates, and it's not old.
Do you have pictures?
Yes, I do.
Let me see the picture.
And
of
Your
the
Honor,
fence.
we drove by the house before flying out here. The fence is still there. And the way that the backyard is set up, there are large concrete paths. You cannot put in a gate in there. As per our agreement, the only thing that was stated about the fence was that it not be a privacy fence.
That was it.
Okay.
I did not put,
Can I say something, Your
yes.
Honor? Can I say something?
Yes, please step up to the lectern.
Okay, his fiancée said, they asked for a fence themselves because they had baby, right, coming.
Let's put these up on
coming on the
the
way.
flat screen.
It's supposed to be childproof fence. That's my understanding, and fence should be enclosed space, right? Fenced area.
Is this the picture of the fence?
Yes.
Okay. What's the issue there? You just don't like it?
No, we like the colors, fine, but the quality
Well,
is not
it's
good.
not enclosed.
Well, the issue is the only thing you have in writing about the fence is that a fence is installed. You did not include a specific detail about the height, the color, the type of material they needed to use, the quality, nothing.
Measurements.
All you
Agreed.
said, all you wrote in the agreement was that a fence needed to be installed, and I'm looking in this photo, there's a fence.
And now, Judge Faith rules.
You also have an issue with the carpet. Let me see the photo, the damage to the carpet. Okay, what is this a photo of?
It just one of the steps going up, I guess they're just little things.
Your Honor,
Did you
he
do
did that
this?
himself. In the video
That's
on the
important.
day that we left, you can see going up the stairs that carpet is not like that
That's
at
right
all.
by the railing.
Let me see the video. When was this video taken?
The day we moved out, it was April the 12th.
It
That
doesn't,
carpet-
show,
The house
doesn't
looks
show the date.
immaculate in this video.
Better than what it was when we moved in, I'll tell you that much.
No, it was painted all white. You keep bringing
Yeah,
up.
it's painted all white.
Is this the carpet?
Yeah,
So
this
where's
is the
the
carpet.
carpet?
See, as you're going up
We
the stairs, that
painted
picture
white.
is taken
Excuse
right
me.
there in the landing.
There,
There you see the seam
Wait,
in the
hold
carpet.
on, pause it.
See right there, it's actually right there.
How did that seam go from that on this video to what you have in your photo? Go back to the photo.
To be honest, I have no idea.
First of all, as it relates to the fence, the only thing you put in writing was that a fence was to be built, and they built a fence, so I'm not giving you any damages for having to replace that fence. Based on all the evidence I've seen today, I find in favor of the plaintiffs. I think that they left this home in better condition than when they moved in, and frankly, I think you should be a little grateful for that. My verdict is for the plaintiffs, $1,000. Pay them their security deposit back.
The needle is off the record in this DJ versus DJ dispute.
Even though he still didn't pay me for December and the rest of the part payment for November and January, and he was ducking and dodging me, he still sent me on gigs.
We give you a job and you stab us in the back like that?
But you also, if you're gonna send him out on gigs, you have to pay him for those gigs.
Plaintiff Cassius Montgomery says his former employer didn't pay for his services as a DJ. He is suing for back pay. Defendant Stephen Corbett is countersuing, saying his former employee didn't show up for gigs, defamed his company, and stole his clients. He is accompanied by his employee, Lakeisha Patterson.
Remain seated and come to order. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Your Honor, we have Montgomery versus Corbett.
Thank you, Barbara. Okay, Mr. Cassius Montgomery.
Cassius, yes, how you doing?
Good. You are suing the defendant, Stephen Corbett, for $3,000 for unpaid wages, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Corbett, you are countersuing for $5,000 for stolen clientele, lost wages, and defamation?
Yes.
And you also brought a witness with you today, Miss Lakeisha Patton?
Yes, Your
Okay,
Honor.
you can have a seat, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
So, as I understand it, Mr. Montgomery, you worked for the defendant as a DJ?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so why don't you start with telling me about your case?
Okay, I started off DJing back in 2000. I was doing clubs and Sweet 16s and weddings or whatnot.
How did you get involved in DJing?
Just had a love for music and just anything that has to do with music. I just love the vibe of it. Fast forward to December 2012. I got a call from Steven asking me to DJ a Christmas party at this nursing home, and I did it, and we began a business relationship from there on.
Okay, so you have a DJing business.
Yes, ma'am.
And you heard of the plaintiff and hired him as sort of an independent contractor to come out and work for you?
Yes, Your Honor. This particular guy was unemployed in 2012. We hired this guy. We nurtured him, we trained him, we brought him around.
When you say we, you're talking about your business?
When I talk about Black Tie Affairs, we are a company. As a snake, he slandered the business and destroyed the company.
When he says slander, there's
sir,
no such
hold on a
accounts.
second. Hold on a second, sir. Tell me about your company. When did you start it?
We started Black Tie Affairs back in 2012. And I've done professionally trained as a DJ, done about 1,000 weddings myself. And we've done backyard parties, barbecues, Sweet 16s, you name it.
Okay, where are you based?
Detroit, Michigan.
Okay, do you have a DJ name?
Yes, my name is DJ Cashback.
Cashback?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I know I don't say it with the same swagger that you do, but okay.
That's okay.
And so you heard about DJ Cashback and you decided you wanted to hire him and use him in your company.
No, he was interviewed prior to. He wasn't automatic that way.
He trained me for 2 weeks, and then he said that I was ready to go out on my own.
What did your training consist of?
Figuring out filling the accounts and the residents and just knowing what to play and how to present myself to the accounts and stuff.
And is that what you do for all the DJs who come to
There's a
work
system.
for you?
It took him about 6 months to learn the process. It wasn't 2 weeks.
6 months? It wasn't 2 weeks?
He trained and shadowed all the entertainers that worked for me. He shadowed them, he videotaped them, he studied them, we nurtured him, we brought him along.
So when did you send me by myself, Steve?
So hold on a second, sir. So when you say this training, because when I think of a DJ, I think of someone standing at turntables playing music. But what else why do they have to be trained for 6 months?
It's a little different. It's a little different. It's like a music and dance therapy. You have to actually get the seniors to move their arms and their legs. We have a routine that we work with them for at least 30 minutes per session. So DJs that may come, it's almost like I know how to cook hamburgers, but McDonald's has a specific way to cook their Big Mac. We have a specific way that we deliver our entertainment to the nursing homes. You can't just come in and spin music. Anybody can do that, Your Honor.
Okay, so you actually target nursing homes, and you have a clientele that's a lot of nursing homes?
Exactly, that was our market, that pretty much we created. We target the therapy aspect of it.
Right.
Because there's a physiological, psychological, and therapy that goes along with trying to bring memories back with Alzheimer's patients, as well as people that have not moved in years. And then we've come and played a record or two, and they've actually gotten up and moved their arms and legs better than the physical therapy department.
That's nice. I like to hear about people going into nursing homes and working with the elderly. Do you bring a video?
Yes, I have a video right now.
Let's look at it. Now, what are we looking at here?
Right now, this is Lakeisha Patton working at one of the homes that we serviced for 5 years. That's in Cassius Montgomery's hands now, and she's working with them, getting them involved, making them, feel good about themselves, dancing with them.
Stephen, could you let them know who's there videotaping that?
Yeah, like I said, we had you shadow Keisha and videotape it, and that's how that was part of your training.
Okay, so tell me, sir, what month and year you began working with the defendant?
December of 2012.
And when did that relationship terminate?
January 2014.
Okay, tell me what happened.
We was working and I was becoming a lot of requested. I was getting requested by a lot of the accounts. And instead of him sending me to the accounts, he would lie and tell them that I was sick. And then I would get a phone call from the activity directors, and they would ask me why didn't I show up today. And I would say, oh, I'm off today. And they would tell me, oh, Stephen just said that you were in the hospital.
Well, I'm glad he brought that up, Your Honor, because I have a statement from one of the activity directors stating that he wasn't available on these days, and he was telling me that he did work those days. So he had a number of no-call, no-shows.
This lawsuit is about days that you say you worked that you were not paid for.
Correct.
So that's what I want to focus on.
Okay. The whole month of November, I worked, and I did what he asked me to do. He sent me out, and the way his payment process...
He sent you out a lot for different projects?
The way his payment process works is that he says that they get paid every 60 to 90 days. We get paid once a month, supposedly, because every month is different. And, you know, I understood, and I took...
Approximately how many DJ jobs would you go out to do in 1 month?
I say between like 20 and 25.
Okay, and what was the agreement on how you would be paid for each gig?
Supposedly it's half.
Coming up on Judge Faith. Was somebody double dealing?
Is your relationship with him strictly business?
Yes, it was.
Okay, what do you think now?
Kind of found out they're supposed to be engaged.
Me and Steve basically started dating each other.
Plaintiff Cassius Montgomery is suing his former employer for back pay. Defendant Stephen Corbett says his former employee didn't show up for gigs, defamed his company, and stole his clients.
He was paying you in October.
Yes.
And you say, in your complaint, you say you did not get paid for November,
November, December, and January.
December, and January. You
And
received no payments for any gigs in those 3 months.
Correct.
Okay, is that true?
That is not true, Your Honor. Cassius was paid December 14th and December 24th for the November. Because the pay...
He was paid for November on 2 dates in December?
Yes, December
What dates
14th
were those?
and December 24th.
Do you have proof of that?
Yes, ma'am.
May I see that, please? And you say that that is incorrect.
That's incorrect because December 1st, I was calling them, and the defendant has a problem with keeping his phone on, so with not being able to contact him, I tried multiple times to contact him through phone calls, text messages, Facebook. I even contacted his mother because that's
Is this I want you to look at this document and tell me if that's your signature on that document.
Yes, this is mine.
Okay, let me see
Now,
this.
you said you paid me for...
This is your evidence, correct, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I want you to explain to me why this money order is dated December 24th, 2013, but you have written on the money order that this is an October 2nd payment. What does that mean?
Because we are paid sporadically. We're paid 30 days after the event. We do get payments that are 30 or 60 days because activity directors
So could it be the case that this payment is actually for October 2nd?
Not that particular payment. What happens is sometimes if there's a money order and I owe you for a particular month, the month will overlap to the next month.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
My issue with this is this money order says it's for October 2nd payment, and so I'm going to assume, sir, that this payment is not for November, that it is for October. What other proof do you have that you went on gigs and you weren't paid?
I turned in some evidence of the text messages of all the gigs through December. So even though he still didn't pay me for December and the rest of the part payment for November and January, he knew that he didn't pay me and he was ducking and dodging me. He still sent me on gigs, which I still completed.
And why would you do that if you weren't being paid? Why would you continue to do work for the defendant?
The reason why I continue doing it, because I enjoy doing what I do, because before I even started working for Steve, I was a caregiver and I was a registered nurse working with the residents before him.
Let me ask you, Mr. Corbett, why did there come a time period where you stopped paying the plaintiff, and what was that about?
He has a relative that works within the facilities that belongs to an organization with the other activity directors. She already knew he DJ'd because she told me he had a problem keeping a job. Once he got trained through us, she decided she wanted to give her relative the business. So he started training his guys on our accounts. So he was sending his guys out, getting trained without my permission after I told him that do not send anyone else
When
other than
do you
yourself.
say you found out about that?
My witness.
I'm sorry, you can step up, ma'am. But I'm asking you, when did you find out about it? Before she speaks to that issue, when did you say you first found out about that?
I heard rumblings about it in November, and we actually took him out to dinner to ask him about it, and he denied it.
Okay.
Not judge.
But you continue to employ him, and you continue to ask him to do gigs for you for months after that.
We had already had a demand established, Your Honor. We already had a demand established.
Okay, but you also, if you're going to send him out on gigs, you have to pay him for those gigs.
Yeah, but if he's not doing the gigs, which we found out and got evidence later, then I told him that he's not going to get paid anything. He didn't get paid for December, and he was fired in January.
You say you fired him, but you still owed him money for gigs, correct?
There was no money owed for December because he sent other DJs.
When you terminated the relationship, had you paid him for all the gigs that he'd went on your behalf? Yes or no?
No, ma'am.
Okay, how much do you owe him?
First of all, there were dates that...
Sir, I'm asking you a question.
It worked out to be about $975 that would have been owed to him.
Now, he says it's more than that. You say it's $975.
Yes.
Why haven't you paid him the $975? You admit that you haven't paid him for his gig.
The reason he did not work these gigs, he sent his team prior to... He wanted to steal the accounts, so he wanted to train his team.
Okay,
he didn't do the accounts. He sent somebody else.
When is the first time you say you learned of that, sir? Either one of you. By the way, what's your relationship with him?
I work for Steve. I've been working for Steve for the past...
You can stand behind the lectern.
Okay.
You can stand behind the
I've been working for Steve for the last 6 years.
Is your relationship with him strictly business?
Yes, it was.
Okay, what is it now?
Come to find out they're supposed to be engaged.
Yes. Just recently, within the last 2 months, me and Steve basically started dating each other. I'm just gonna be very honest with you, Your Honor.
Okay. So he is your boyfriend?
Yes, now.
Are you engaged?
Yes.
Okay.
He wanted to look at his lips.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie about it.
I know you're not. I'm talking about him.
You're hilarious, man. We give you a job, and you stab us in the back like that?
Next on Judge Faith.
Cassius asked me to come in with him to do a Christmas party at one of the nursing homes that we go to on a regular, and I basically told Cassius, I can't do Steve like that. He may pay you late, but he do pay you.
Plaintiff Cassius Montgomery is suing his former employer for back pay. Defendant Stephen Corbett says his former employee didn't show up for gigs, defamed his company, and stole his clients.
Ma'am, please go on.
I received via phone call from Cassius Montgomery stating that he was going to take over 10 accounts that Black Tie Affairs own, and we've been going to these accounts doing Christmas parties, birthday parties, monthly. Some of the nursing homes have been weekly, and I basically told Steve about it. Cassius asked me to come in with him to do a Christmas party at one of the nursing homes that we go to on a regular, and I basically told Cassius, I can't do Steve like that. No matter me being upset with him or anything like that, he may pay you late, but he do pay you. I'm talking, please do not talk while I'm talking, please.
But if the nursing homes want to hire him individually over your company, what's the problem with that?
He signed a breach of contract. It's a breach of contract.
What contract?
It's a breach of contract that he signed, stated one of the employees for the company went to him, explained everything.
May I see the contract you're referring to?
Yes, ma'am.
So you're saying that you have some type of non-compete provision in a contract, and that he's not supposed to...
And it's not just, Your Honor, it's not just Cassius Montgomery, it's his team.
Would you show that to the plaintiff, please? Is that your signature?
It's his team that he's putting out of business. We all work together for 6 years.
You forgot you signed that?
Well, he's an independent contractor, sir. He's not an employee.
But we all are independent contractors.
I gave him that then.
Okay. Is that one of the reasons why you say you didn't pay him the $975 you admit to owing him?
No, there were damages because of the 30 no calls and no shows that he received with his other DJs that he sent out. They got complaints, which amounts to about...
Sir, did you, on 30 different occasions, did you send out other DJs in your place?
I don't believe it was 30.
How many times?
Probably like 10.
Okay.
Because a lot of the times when Steve...
Are you serious?
So serious. Oh, and to go back to when she said She actually wanted me to, the Christmas party that I asked her to help me DJ, she actually wanted to bring her son in. She was actually on board to do the gig, but instead, because her son they didn't have their own equipment, and she didn't have a car at the time, she said that she wasn't going to be able to do it. This was around the time
I didn't have a car.
You didn't have.
all right.
Remember your contract went out.
Miss Patty, you can have a seat. Thank you.
Please have a seat.
Miss Patty, you can have a seat. Thank you.
I already know because you're trying to. I know that's
Here are
your
the issues in
fiancé,
this
but
case.
don't take it there.
I also reviewed several messages, Facebook messages, and text messages in this case, and all the way up to February of this year, the plaintiff, Mr. Montgomery, repeatedly asked you when he was going to get paid, and you respond, sir, I intend on getting you paid.
Yeah, I told you that when he left, when he was fired from the company, there was
so
a
the issue is how much.
$975
I want to address something, this confidentiality, non-disclosure, and non-compete agreement. In order for me to find that it is a binding non-compete agreement on the plaintiff, 3 things have to happen. It has to be reasonable in time, geography, and scope. And in your non-compete agreement, all you say is that the plaintiff agrees not to compete with you. You put no time period on that. It's not legal for him to sign a document and say that he will never start his own DJing business in the area of Detroit, that he will never go out on his own and try to hang his own shingle and start his own business. You can't make someone agree to that, and that's what this agreement does. If you're going to have a non-compete agreement in your business and in your contracts, you have to put a time period on it. It has to be for 6 months or a year or some reasonable time period after the employee leaves your company. It also has to be reasonable in geography. It applies to a certain area and in scope. And what I'm saying to you is this clause is way too broad. You can ask someone to never start their own DJing business because of the simple fact that they worked for you, okay?
And now, Judge Faith rules.
You don't have a lot of evidence to show that you went to all these gigs and that you weren't paid for them, and you admitted when I questioned you about it that at least 10 of the gigs that you wanted compensation for, you sent other DJs, and you can't do that either. When someone is trying to run a business and they're putting their name and their image out on the line and they hire you to work for them, you can't send somebody else in your place. I know you're 23 years old and you're trying to make it in this industry, but Detroit, it's not that large of a city. You don't want to burn bridges, and when you say something and you give somebody your word that you're going to do something, you have to do it. You understand?
Excuse me, but Your Honor.
So on your counterclaim, sir, you have several issues. You have no valid non-compete agreement, no non-solicitation clause, no really valid written agreement between the two of you about what he's supposed to do in terms of his duties not to work for clients on his own outside of the time when he's working for you, and you admit to me that you do owe him money. So, sir, I do appreciate the work that you do. I think you do great work in the nursing homes. You're a DJ. I'm going to put this to you like Jay-Z would. Listen, I feel bad for your son. You got 99 problems, but he ain't one, all right? So your counterclaim is dismissed. Judgment in this case, $1,500 for the plaintiff. Good luck.
There is nothing simple in this fender bender.
I heard the loudest crash, and my whole rear end was smashed. The trunk was up in the air.
But did the plaintiff damage her own car?
I got the hammer from up under the seat and tried to break the window.
The hammer out of her vehicle.
And the confusion grows.
He said he was the owner of the car.
As Judge Faith makes sense of this mess.
It makes no sense at all for you to go to the driver who hit this car and damaged it and say, you don't owe me any more money, we're done.
And then this chiropractor comes to the judge for an adjustment.
He approached her and said, hey, are you gonna pay the bill? He's looking to get his bill paid. She said, no, I'm not gonna pay the bill. I've already taken the money that I received from the insurance company and I went and bought a car, so no, I'm not gonna pay the bill.
He violated my privacy when he started talking to this man about my medical bills and everything else.
If you're so concerned about it, you report it to the government.
Deborah Miller is suing her neighbor for damages to a car registered in her name. She is accompanied by her witness, Ronald Williams. Defendant LaTanya Gordon says she wasn't driving the car, and the plaintiff is suing the wrong person.
Remain seated and come to order. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Your Honor, we have Miller versus Gordon.
Thank you, Barbara. Deborah Miller, you are suing the defendant, LaTanya Gordon, for $3,000 for car damage reimbursement.
That's correct.
And I understand you have a witness with you today, Mr. Ronald Williams.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, tell me about your case, Ms. Miller.
What happened is that on October 31st of 2012, I helped Mr. Williams to get a car in my name since I was able to do it. He was in and out of town. He needed a car for work, and he was kind of like in between jobs.
And what's your relationship with him?
We were dating.
Okay, you aren't anymore?
We were dating. He's my ex now. But anyway, but we're still good friends.
Okay.
We're still friends. And on June the 11th, I got a call from him saying that someone had hit the car.
Wait,
So,
Your Honor, can I
Well,
intervene?
were you there when your car was hit?
no, I wasn't there. I just got a call from Mr. Williams saying that the car had been hit.
You were there and you witnessed this incident.
Yes, I was,
Okay,
ma'am.
tell me what happened.
On the day in question, I was looking out of my window, and I heard the loudest crash. And I looked out the window, and I saw the defendant and a family member exiting her vehicle, and my whole rear end was smashed. The trunk was up in the air, and the family member had his hands on his head saying, "Oh my God," and she said, well, "Look what you did. What was you thinking?"
Was she in the car when you saw the accident?
She was getting out of the car on the passenger side. She wasn't driving. I said, "Man, look what you did to my car. What are you gonna do?" So I commenced to call the police to make a police report. This is the only way I have transportation I have.
What kind of car is it?
It was a 95 Cadillac Sedan DeVille, like brand new. I have pictures to prove it.
Okay, and what happened?
How you doing, Miss Faith?
Good.
Okay, on the night of the accident, I wasn't in the car. I was sitting on the porch when what had happened, my family member asked me for a jump. He gave his own self a jump because his car had went dead. He was in the park the whole time. In some type of way, he said he had the car in drive, and he put his feet on the accelerator, went into his car.
Okay.
That's when he came out. I was on the porch the whole time. I wasn't in the car at the time.
Do you have photos of the car and the
Yes, I do,
damages?
Your Honor.
May I see them? So you call the police.
Yeah.
Do we have these on the flat screen? Oh, wow. That's a lot of damage. When did you come onto the scene? So I understand that the car wasn't in your name.
Not at the time, Your
No,
Honor.
it was in my name.
It was in your name, Ms.
Yes.
Miller. So what happens? He contacts you,
He
and what
called me
happens?
that night to tell me that the car was in the accident. I said, "Don't play with me."
I'm on the phone.
You know, because I mean, the car's in my name. I don't want to be sued. So I said, "Well, do you need me to come?" He said, "No, you don't have to come. I got this." I said, "No, if it's in my name, I need to be there."
So what happened when you get? What
When I
happened?
got
What did you
there,
observe?
it was a young family member came up to Ronald and said that he was sorry for the accident and he would try to do what he could to correct it. So I asked the police for the report. The police gave me the report, and I said, "Well, who is the owner of the car? That's who I need to see is the owner of the car, and do they have insurance? Because Ronald had insurance on his car, but it was only liability."
What happens
so,
next?
the police gave me the report. So when I looked on the report, I said, "Well, I see Ronald's insurance, but where's the young lady that owns the car? Where's her insurance?" And he said, "It's right there." I said, "Well, there's no number or anything." And the next day, I called the insurance company. They had no knowledge of her, no record or anything of having insurance with the company.
So were you insured on the date of this accident?
Your Honor, when the accident occurred, I just had got my car 3 days ago. I had to get insurance to leave off the lot with it. I had temporary insurance.
Okay, so do you have proof that you had temporary insurance on the date of this accident?
Now, no, I doesn't.
Okay.
But in the police report, when the police came, I showed them what I had, my insurance. I showed them what I had. He said he was the owner of the car. I ain't know nothing about her.
Your Honor, if I may speak, I called her the next day, which was June the 12th, and I said, "Miss Gordon, I just called the insurance company." And when I called them, they said they had no knowledge of you. They even asked me for her address. I gave them the address. She said, "Well, hold on. I'm getting ready to get on the phone with them right now. I'll get back to you." She never got back to me.
Okay, so why didn't you get back to her when she tells you that you say you have insurance, it's temporary,
Right.
She tells you they're saying you're not covered. Did you contact your insurance company?
Yes, I contact my insurance. They say they ain't never speak to no one about the car accident.
Well, I don't think she would. I mean, she wants to get the damage covered on her car, so I don't think she's lying saying that the insurance company said that they don't have any record of you. There's something going on.
Temporary insurance, Judge Faith.
Okay, but once you find out that a lawsuit is being filed against you, did you not contact your insurance company and say, I need your help to cover damage?
Yes, I did.
And what happened?
And they had sent me a piece of paper to restate my insurance, the full coverage, because it was temporary insurance at the time.
And it had expired?
Yeah, it had expired.
Okay, so you did not have insurance the date of this accident? Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And what about the driver of the car? Where is he today?
He's not here.
Coming up on Judge Faith, the plot thickens as the damage increases.
And you tried to break the windows in your own car?
I tried to break the window, and if I had a chance, if the tow truck had came, I would go ahead them to tow it away and tell them to give me $300. Yes, I did.
And later,
He found out I was in a car accident, so he started coming over saying, hey, you should see my friend, he's a chiropractor.
Did she make any payments to you at all for the services she was receiving, for the treatment?
No.
Plaintiff Deborah Miller and her witness Ronald Williams are suing for damages to a car. Defendant LaTanya Gordon says she wasn't driving the car.
Is there any particular reason why you only sued the defendant and not the driver of the car?
Well, I sued her because the last conversation we had, she said, well, you could go ahead and sue me. And I said, okay, that's what I'll do.
Mr. Williams, you reached out to the defendant's family member.
Yes, I did.
And at some point, you say he agreed to pay for damages.
Yes, I have a
Tell me
written
about
agreement
that.
that he signed. He was willing to pay me in between $3,000 and $4,000 for the damage of my vehicle. He paid me a total of $600. And then this person,
I beg your pardon?
Well, Miss Miller got upset at me about something she had nothing totally to do with.
I got upset, Your Honor, because of the fact that I had got a red light ticket on the car, I had got another ticket on the car, and all of this is coming in my name.
But I paid.
And I had told Ronald from day one, I said, Ronald, you have to get the car in your name.
What I got to do?
But after that accident, that really ticked me off. And then when I found out that he had made an agreement about the car,
He made an agreement with the defendant's family member?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I
You
did.
found out about it, and what happened?
I found out about it, and then I found out he had actually got some money. I was infuriated. I was infuriated because the fact the car was in my name.
Okay, the family member gives him $600.
Right.
Why are you upset about that?
Because he didn't tell me.
It was none of your business.
It was my business. The car was in my name. But because he knew I was in the process of talking to Miss Gordon to try to, get the money from her as far as legally through her insurance.
So what did you do when you found out that someone was giving him money? What did you do?
What I did, I was so infuriated and mad. I called the young man and told him he didn't have to pay Ronald anything else. By me being the owner and Miss Gordon was the owner, I felt that's the route we should have taken.
Okay, let me make sure I understand this. The date of the accident.
It was in my name.
It was in your name.
Yes, ma'am.
But the insurance was in your name. And then you go to the defendant's relative who was driving the car.
Right.
And you tell that person they don't have to pay you any more money for damages?
She showed him this.
Yes.
Let me see that, Barbara. Now, because you want to get the damages paid for your car, so why would you have the driver actually sign a document saying that he doesn't have to pay you anything
Because
else?
I felt that I needed to go legally, that I had to go to the owner of the car and not through the person that actually hit the car.
Okay, so if you want to do that, but why would you have them sign a document?
Because I was angry at the time.
Angry about what?
I was angry.
What were you angry about? What made you go?
There was some personal stuff that was going on. We was in the midst of breaking up. There was a lot of problems that was going on. And I told him to give me the keys to the car.
Okay.
He wouldn't give me the keys to the car. So
Okay, because now you're making sense, because it makes no sense at all for you to go to the driver who hit this car and damaged it and say, you don't owe me any more money, we're done.
Right.
Well, Your Honor, tell her about what you did, about the hammer.
Oh. I was so angry. I wanted to get the keys to stop in order for him to get the car into his name. And so I said, well, Ronald, give me the keys or you get the car changed in your name.
But what did you do?
So he came to the car and said, what do you want? I said, I want the keys. He said, that's not going to happen. And he got in the car and proceeded to drive off, and I got the hammer from up under the seat and tried to break the window.
The hammer out of her vehicle.
I said I might.
More like a mallet, you know?
It was a hammer.
And you tried to break the windows in your own car?
I tried to break the window, and if I had a chance, if the tow truck had came, I would go ahead them to tow it away and tell them to give me $300. Yes, I did.
How long had you guys been in a relationship?
We had been in a relationship maybe 2.5 years. I've known her 32 years. We go to the same church lady.
Okay.
You're on. Church man.
Okay. And what's going on with the two of you now?
We're just friends.
Do you still love him?
What's love got to do with it?
I'm just asking.
Do you still love me?
Yeah.
You don't love me. I guess I don't love him.
Apparently.
Are you serious? Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
Okay, he don't love me, so no, I don't love him. But he just saying that, but he didn't say that yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow, okay.
What happened yesterday?
Let's be for real, or will? Let's be for real.
Yesterday was her birthday, Giannis.
Yes.
What I have to do with it, even though it was my car, I don't have anything to do with it. They got some relationship issues going on. You see that now, Judge Faith?
Coming up, Judge Faith rules. And then,
I lied to Jim and said, no, I didn't receive it. They're not paying me for the chiropractor. He calls me and says, hey, leaves a message on my phone saying, hey, we talked to your adjuster and they said they did pay you for the bill.
plaintiff Deborah Miller is suing her neighbor for damages to a car registered in her name. Defendant LaTanya Gordon says she wasn't driving the car.
Have you been driving the car?
I was, yes.
Okay.
With the duct tape on the trunk.
So you brought me an estimate of damages to the car in the amount over $7,000. But when you look at the Blue Book value of the car, ranges from $1,500 to $3,500.
Right, correct.
Okay. My judgment in this case is for the plaintiffs. I'm going to award you the Blue Book value of the car if it were clean, which is $2,062. I'm going to subtract from that amount the $600 the defendant's family member paid to you and award you a judgment in the amount of $1,462 plus your court costs.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Plaintiff Dr. Brad Gunderson is suing his former patient for unpaid medical bills. Defendant Jade Haynes says the doctor violated her privacy rights, so she's not paying.
Okay, Dr. Brad Gunderson?
Yes.
You are suing the defendant Jade Haynes for $1,875 for unpaid medical bills?
Yes.
Okay, what's going on here, doctor?
Jade was a patient of mine. She was referred in by a mutual friend of ours into my chiropractic office.
That's not true, Your Honor. He's not a mutual friend.
Okay, well, I'll get to your side in a second, Ms. Haynes. Let me hear from the doctor first.
Okay, so a mutual associate of ours.
When was that, doctor?
That was back in November 6th, 2013.
What type of doctor are you?
Chiropractor.
Okay.
She came into the office for a car accident that happened on September 24th of 2013.
So you started treating her as your patient at that time?
Yes.
Okay, and how long was she your patient?
She was my patient until December 18th that same year, so about a month and a half.
So only a month, and you saw her how many times during that month and a half period? I'm sorry?
10 visits.
And during those 10 visits, did she make any payments to you at all for the services she was receiving for the treatment?
No.
And why was that?
The car accident was not her fault, so the third party was going to settle the claim at the end of the case, so we put it on a lien basis. I had referred her over to an attorney. She went over and signed up with this attorney, and that was going to help to settle the case.
What do you mean by lien basis?
That means that she would be able to pay the bill at the end of the case. After a few weeks, she went back to the attorney and fired him, so she no longer used his services. And so now she was on her own to pay the case after the case settled.
Okay, and at some point you find out that she's received some kind of payment, and what happens?
Right. Once we're done with the case, got a hold of the third-party insurance company.
Your Honor, that's not true. He got a hold of his friend.
Okay, tell me what happened.
So what happened was I got in a car accident. I was a manager at a yogurt land. There was a guy that owned a He found out I was in a car accident, so he started coming over saying, hey, you should see my friend. He's a chiropractor. Don't go to the one that you're going to if he makes you feel uncomfortable. See this guy.
What's his name?
His name is Jim. I kind of put it off. I was like, no, I don't want to go see him. I'll just continue with mine. One day he just comes in and he's like, I'm going to take you to see this guy. And I was like, no, he's like, no, I'll drive you there so you don't have to drive. I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. I don't know you. You're driving me. I get there, I signed paperwork to start the services with him. All in all, when it came down to it and I owed him money, the guy was approaching me saying, if I don't pay, then he's gonna have to pay, and he can't use his services until I pay.
Well,
That's
hold on a
not
second.
true.
You saw Dr. Gunderson for a month and a half, right?
Correct. Mhm.
And so you knew that you would have to pay
Correct, and my plan
for
was-
the 10 or so times that you saw
Yes.
him. So my question is, why didn't you pay him?
Because he violated my privacy when he started talking to this man about my medical bills and everything else. The guy kept approaching me saying if I don't pay, I'm gonna be sued in court and they're gonna
Jim,
take a lien out on my house if you don't pay. And I'm like,
That's
what does that
not
have
right.
to do with
No,
you?
no,
I don't even know you.
Who is
No.
Jim? Do you know Jim?
Yeah, Jim owns a from where she was working. He would go in there quite often to get yogurt. They became friends. The reason why he came in there and talked to her is because I wanted to get my bill paid and I didn't want to take her to court. So I said, Jim, do you ever see her? He said, yeah, when I see her, I'll go talk to her. He saw her outside one time. He approached her and said, hey, are you going to pay the bill? He's looking to get his bill paid. She said, no, I'm not going to pay the bill. I've already taken the money that I received from the insurance company and I went and bought a car. So no, I'm not going to pay the bill.
And now, Judge Faith rules.
Her insurance company sent her a check.
Yes.
Which she found out from Jim, because Jim approached me the first time after I received it saying, hey, did you receive the settlement?
not
I
true.
lied to Jim and said, no, I didn't receive it. They're not paying me for the chiropractor.
That's
he
not
went
true.
back to the guy, he went back to him. He calls me and says, hey, leaves a message on my phone saying, hey, we talked to your adjuster and they said they did pay you for the bill. After that, I still was avoiding him. Jim started coming to my job asking my employees
So I don't
when I'm going to
understand
be at work.
if you think, even if it's true that Jim was having discussions with the doctor, you still were treated 10 times by
Yeah,
the
but it's
doctor.
violating my privacy.
So they make a report. That's what you do. But you don't not pay someone for services that you've already had. Like, he treated you for a month and a half without getting paid. So you owe him for that medical
But he's
treatment.
not wrong for telling me that.
Report it to HIPAA.
But what about
make
the guy
a
that
claim,
said he
make a report.
co-signed?
What'd you do with the money?
I bought a car because I needed a
Okay,
car.
so why don't you just say, I wanted to buy a car
Yeah,
with
I
the
needed
money
to buy
instead
a
of saying
car,
he
and I was gonna
violated
pay
my
him,
rights?
but before I
Because if
even
you
got
were
the
so
chance-
concerned about it, you report it to the government. Then you report it to HIPAA. The fact that you did none of those things tells me that it either didn't happen or you weren't that concerned about it and you just wanted to keep the money for yourself, which you cannot do.
I wasn't concerned at the point, ma'am. I didn't even know. That's not true. Why would I sit here and lie and say that this guy co-signed? I wouldn't even be here. I would just pay my bill. It could go to collections. But this guy's telling me they're going to put a
So is
lien out
that
on
your
his
only
house.
reason, ma'am, for not paying
Yes, that he violated my privacy laws.
$1,875
Correct.
for the medical treatment that the doctor gave you?
That's correct.
Okay, I find that to be insufficient. You pay him for the medical services that he provided to you, $1,875, pay the doctor.
He decided to put their friendship to the test and chase his dream.
We became really good friends and wanted to protect them.
Maybe it's because he dropped completely out of school and was switching majors, and he just wanted to get out of the rent.
Let me tell you something about friendship. You say that you're supposed to be friends. Friends don't bail on their other friends.
And later, his friend wasn't paying, so he decided to take the money back.
When I went down to the Social Security office, I talked to one of the gentlemen there. He went into the files, came back, and showed me that the check had been endorsed by Larry and been cashed.
So what's your defense to stealing her Social Security check?
I felt that that money was mine. It was owed to me.
The plaintiffs, Kyle Johnson, Warren Bauman, Jim Carell, and Chris Skelly say their former friend and roommate ditched them to follow his dreams. They are suing for unpaid rent, utilities, and other fees. Defendant Kyle Rall admits he left college mid-year to follow his dreams, but says he doesn't owe his former roommates anything because of all the times he helped them out in the past.
Remain seated and come to order. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Your Honor, this is Skelly, Carroll, Johnson, Bauman versus Rao.
Thank you, Barbara. Okay, Christopher Skelly, James Carroll, Kyle Johnson, and Warren Bowman. You are suing the defendant, your former roommate, Kyle Rao, for $1,056 for unpaid rent, late fees, and shared utilities? Yes. Okay. You can say yes. It's fine.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, and so how do you know the defendant?
So it started out 2 years ago. We moved in freshman year of college.
What college?
Yes, college. We were all me and Jimmy.
What's the name of your university?
Minnesota State University.
Okay.
So me and James here are good buddies. We grew up together. We moved into the dorms. We met Warren over here. And Kyle was our RA, resident advisor.
Okay.
Right down the hall. So
were you freshmen?
We were freshmen, yes.
Okay, so you move into the dorm. You're the RA. Are you a freshman as well?
No, that was my 3rd year in college.
Okay, you were a junior.
Yes.
Yep. And so we're all pretty good buddies, and we share some of the same interests, sports, and all that good stuff. And so time came to where we were looking for a place to live for next year, and so we figured why not all just find a house and live together. So we did that. We found a great house or a great apartment.
So you signed a lease together. Do you have a copy of the lease?
I do.
May I see it?
Yep.
Hand that to Barbara. Thank you. So you lived in the dorms for a year,
Yes.
and Kyle was your RA.
Yes.
What was he like as your RA?
It's cool. We all liked sports, hung out, played video games.
And what did you think about them when you met them?
Good. I mean, we connected well right away with each other, and I actually protected them a lot during the freshman year.
What do you mean by that?
Well, for example, there was this incident that was ongoing where they would go to the cafeteria and they would bring back fruit, and in the middle of the night when it was not very busy, they would, this is excluding Kyle, he wasn't there, and they would chuck the fruit at the walls, and they became these notorious fruit throwers that nobody could find, and we would have big residential advisor meetings and try to find him, and I knew who it was,
Well, how did you know that they were the fruit throwers?
Oh, they would come and talk to me about it.
Okay.
So
what was going on there, guys, with the fruit?
We were just being dumb and trying to have fun.
So you got fruit from the cafeteria, you would throw it on the walls?
We would just throw it down the hallways and play games with them, like soccer.
Okay.
Easily could have been kicked out of the school for it, and the janitors were not very happy.
You were kind of looking out for the freshmen. They were making some mistakes, but you kind of looked out for them.
Yeah, whatever freshman does, makes mistakes, and we became really good friends, and just wanted to protect them.
Okay, so at some point you all get an apartment off campus.
Yes.
How many bedrooms? How many bathrooms? How large was the place?
It was a 5-bedroom, 2-bath.
Okay, and how many people are supposed to live in the apartment?
5.
Okay, and so what happens next?
And we lived together. It was all going good, and then come
Did
January,
all of you get along?
Yeah, we all got along just fine. And
Were you
then,
throwing fruit on your walls in your apartment?
There's a few holes, but we repaired those.
Yeah.
Okay. So what happens? At some point you say he moves out and breaches the lease. What happened?
And then in late March, out of the blue, we got a Facebook message that says, "Hey guys, just broke
From
up
who?
with from Kyle. Hey guys, just broke up with my girlfriend. I'm gonna go to Florida to work on a cruise ship and follow my dreams."
Coming up, they want to know why he bailed on his buddies.
Your Honor, what happened to the whole looking out for us part? When he sent us a message saying that all you have to do is sign this form and I'm out of here.
You're making really spur-of-the-moment decisions and choices without thinking things through. And it's affecting everyone's lives, not just your own.
And later,
I was only trying to help her get that money. I wouldn't have signed up
Right,
for that.
helping her by getting the check, cashing it, and keeping the money, which you admit to doing in your complaint.
Well, that's a little bit on further
Where's
down the
her
line.
money?
You'll understand.
Where's her money?
I spent it.
the plaintiffs Kyle Johnson, Warren Ballman, Jim Carell, and Chris Skelly say the defendant ditched them to follow his dreams. They are suing for unpaid rent, utilities, and other fees. Defendant Kyle Rawls says he doesn't owe his former roommates anything.
What was your dream job? To work on the cruise ship?
Yes, ma'am.
Doing what exactly?
With kids, working in the recreational department.
And how long was the job on the cruise ship?
It's like a 6-month term, and then you take like 4 weeks off, and then you decide if you want to do it again. I mean, it was a serious deal. Like, I had a girlfriend of 4 years, and I ended things with her because of this. Yeah.
Why'd you have to do that?
Because long distance relationship, I guess she didn't think it was gonna work. I didn't think it was gonna work.
Yes, Kyle.
Okay. Maybe the reason he wanted to go to Florida was because they broke up. And maybe it's because he dropped completely out of school and was switching majors, and he just wanted to get out of the rent. That's what I think.
Had you dropped out of school?
After I have decided that I got the job, after the job was like insecure, like I got the job.
But he didn't tell us about this at all before anything.
Which I just mentioned.
It was a spur of the moment thing, just boom, right on it.
So you got this Facebook message, and you move out in how many days?
Two or 3
2 or 3 days.
Didn't give us any notice. Didn't try and find us another roommate.
Did you move to Florida?
No, ma'am. I can explain why.
So you never actually took the job?
No, my father passed away when I was a freshman in high school, and me and my brother and my family are really close together. And I had to grow up and become a father figure for my little brother. And this was his senior year in high school, and I felt like I needed to see it through. And I never left because I could tell I was letting him down, and I never.
You didn't think about that before you told them you're moving out, breaking the lease?
No, because at the time I thought
giving them 2 days notice? This was something you thought about afterwards?
Yes, ma'am, because as the day got
Your Honor,
closer...
he never said anything about this. He never mentioned anything like that about us at all.
When was the cruise supposed to start?
I was going to go down there in May.
And it was supposed to start when?
Like the beginning of June.
June, okay. It was for 6 months.
Yes, ma'am.
I think it's admirable what you're saying, being a father figure to your brother, but that job was only for 6 months. You would have been back
but then you only
with him only a couple of months into his senior year. You would have had the entire rest of his senior year to be there with
Right, but sports in our family is very important. His senior year of football, and I would have missed that. And then you only get
you would have missed only maybe 4 or 5 weeks of his entire senior year being on the cruise ship.
Right.
Your Honor, what happened to the whole looking out for us part in this?
Yeah.
Where's I mean, when he sent us a message saying that all you have to do is sign this form and I'm out of here and I'm off the lease.
So what are you doing now? So you dropped out of school. Did you go back and get into school?
I work for the United States Postal Service in my hometown.
You dropped out of school.
Yes, ma'am.
During this time period as well. Did you ever enroll back into college?
No, ma'am.
It appears that you really don't know what you want, and you're making really spur-of-the-moment decisions and choices without thinking things through.
Right. Well, like the end result now is
and
knowing
it's affecting everyone's lives, not just your own. In April 2014, he moves out, so he doesn't pay rent for April?
Nope.
And you don't dispute that, right?
I actually don't remember if I paid rent for April.
No, he did not pay rent for April.
That's too
We have
bad.
proof of that too.
What's the next month? May?
He did not pay May either.
And when did you get another roommate?
June 1st, I believe.
June, yep.
You did agree to share in the utilities, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You have proof of the utilities for those months? I look at the lease, you signed the lease, you breached the lease, so I mean, my question to you is, do you have a justification for the breach? You're saying that Warren told you that you didn't have to pay rent, but you're not obligated to just Warren, you're obligated to all of the fruit throwers.
Right, yes.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Like all of them, you signed a lease with all of them.
Right.
So one person, he's not their agent, he doesn't speak for them. Let me tell you a little something about friendship. You say that you're supposed to be friends. Friends don't bail on their other friends and leave them. And you all are college students. You don't have a lot of money. 5 of you are living in this apartment, paying $300 each. If you want to be a good friend and you want to be the role model that you say you want to be to your younger brother, which I do admire you for that, then be accountable for your responsibilities and don't bail on your friends at the last minute and leave them stuck with rent. If you were going to move out, all you had to do was, hey, I'll help you find someone to replace me. What is the next step for you?
It's a good question.
No, I'm serious. I just want you to think about it because you were a junior in school.
Right.
You were an RA, which is a leader. I was an RA in college as well, and I know that's a leadership position. That's a job you have to interview for, and I know some of the things you've told me about questionable for RAs, but they saw some leadership qualities in you. Whatever your dream is, I just want to encourage you to continue to pursue that because it seems that you've gotten a little bit off course. So I want you to think about what you want to do because you're very young. You have the rest of your life ahead of you. If you want to go back, get into school, finish your degree, get your education, I strongly encourage you to do that and not waste any more time pondering moving to Florida. By the way, people don't move to Florida to work on cruise ships. They go down there, they get on the ship. When they finish, they come back. But no one actually physically moves to Florida to work on a cruise ship. My judgment in this case is for the plaintiffs, $600 past due rent. $116.75 in shared utilities, $39.20 in late fees. I'm not awarding you $300 for your mileage and gas to court. Okay, you made the decision to file a lawsuit. But I am awarding you $130 in court filing fees. So the total judgment in this case for the plaintiff, $755.95 plus the $130 in court filing fees, okay? Good luck.
The plaintiff, Della Glover, says her 14-year friendship ended when the defendant stole her Social Security benefits. But the defendant, Larry Carson, says Della took advantage of his generosity, and she owes him for various loans. He's countersuing for the cost of a cell phone that was stolen from Della's house.
Okay, Miss Della Glover.
That's correct.
You are suing the defendant, Larry Carson, for $2,094. You say he stole a Social Security check and cashed it illegally.
That's correct.
And Mr. Carson, you are countersuing for $250 for the cost of a cell phone.
That is correct.
Okay. We'll start with you, Ms. Glover. What happened? How do you know the defendant, first of all?
I moved to Minnesota about 12 to 14 years ago, and Larry Carson was one of the first people that I met.
And what was your relationship with him like?
My relationship was good. He was very attentive, and he was very caring. He took me out to places that and showed me the city. We had a lot of fun. We clicked, you know, so I enjoyed his company quite a bit.
Was this a relationship or just a friendship?
Oh, no, it's just a friendship.
Okay.
Yes, yes. As I said, it was just a friendship. Yes, we were really close. We really clicked. He was a fun person to be out with, and we just had a good thing going as far as friends. One day, I was at his house. I applied for my Social Security, and
what kind of Social Security did you apply for?
SSI disability. Okay?
What was your disability?
Basically, I have a physical disability with my knees. I have a hard time walking.
Okay, and when did you apply for a Social Security disability?
I was finally approved in March of 2012. They were telling me that I had been approved, but I would have to have a payee, and I'm asking them why. They said, well, it was just mandated and I'd have to do it. Well, Larry,
what is a payee?
A payee is a person that is responsible for making sure that your check is cashed and used for the things that you need to use it for.
And so you were one of those individuals, and they said you need a payee,
That's
someone
correct.
to volunteer to do this.
Right.
And you volunteered to do that?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and what was that process like for you to become her payee?
Just to say yes over the phone. Well,
You
I
didn't-
didn't volunteer. She asked me to do it.
I didn't ask.
I was only trying to help her get that money. I wouldn't have signed up
Right,
for that.
helping her by getting the check, cashing it, and keeping the money, which you admit to doing in your complaint?
Well, that's a little bit on further
Where's
down the
her
line,
money?
and you'll understand.
Where's her money?
I spent it because that really money should have been
Right,
my money.
and that wasn't an option for you.
Coming up on Judge Faith, how much will this choice cost him?
Has the Social Security Administration contacted you?
No, because my name was on the check, so that's why it wasn't really considered fraud when I cashed it.
Well, it is fraud because it's not your money.
Well, they didn't. I haven't been contacted. Nothing has been said to me about that.
Well, there's still time.
The plaintiff, Della Glover, says the defendant stole her Social Security benefits. But the defendant, Larry Carson, says the plaintiff owes him for various loans. He's countersuing for the cost of a cell phone.
You didn't get the check, what happened?
I went to him and I called him. I said, what happened? Did you get the check? And he said, no, I didn't get the check. I called him again. I'm like, did you get the check? He's like, no, I didn't get the check, and don't bother me with this anymore. I don't want to be your payee anymore.
So he was lying?
When I went down to the Social Security office, I talked to one of the gentlemen there. He went into the files, came back, and showed me that the check had been endorsed by Larry and been cashed.
Has the Social Security Administration contacted you?
No, because my name was on the check, so that's why it wasn't really considered fraud when I cashed it.
Well, it is fraud because it's not your money.
Well, they didn't. I haven't been contacted. Nothing has been said to me about that.
Well, there's still time.
Okay, Judge.
How did you stop the defendant from getting your remainder Social Security checks? What
They
did you do
told me
then?
after they got the check back and realized that it was cashed with only his signature, they realized that he was not a good payee and I could take care of my own affairs.
He did not have to sign your name to cash the check?
No, he didn't.
So what's your defense to stealing her Social Security check?
I felt that money was mine. It was owed to me. That's why I took it and kept it. Because she
Okay,
was
so
never
you
gonna
thought
pay me
committing a
back.
felony and taking someone else's Social Security disability money and putting it into your account was your solution to the fact that she owed you money? If she owes you money, you go file a claim. If she owes you money, you file a lawsuit like she did. If she damaged your property, you file a police report. What is not an option for you, sir, is to steal someone's Social Security disability check and put it into your account. That is a crime. It is a felony. It is punishable by up to 5 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. So I hope you think it's worth it.
And now, Judge Faith rules.
There is nothing you can say that excuses you from taking someone's Social Security disability check and cashing it and keeping it as your own. You want to take her to court? You do that. You want to file a police report? You do that. Those are your options. What is not an option is for you to steal from the federal government and defraud the federal government. Do you understand?
Yes, now I know, Judge.
What is your counterclaim?
And the fact that when I was at her house, she let some random man come in. She borrowed my cell phone. And she let this man use this phone, and he walks out the door with it.
That's not the story.
Me and her daughter got together, and
that
we questioned her.
That is not the story.
She didn't know who the man was. Someone from the neighborhood.
Oh, my God.
So I ended up cutting the phone off. She, of course, promised she's gonna pay. Never paid.
Judge.
I had, in order to get another phone, I had to take another 2-year contract out and give T-Mobile $250 in order to get a new phone. I had no insurance on the phone.
Oh, that's not true.
But I didn't know she was gonna let some random man in the house.
He was not a random
Okay, I've heard enough.
person.
Well,
I've heard enough.
Who is it then?
I've heard enough.
I've never gotten the
It
name
was
to
a
this
I've
day.
heard enough.
Excuse me.
I've heard enough. On your counterclaim is dismissed, 0. What you did is you saw an opportunity to take money that you thought belonged to you. I don't know whether she owed you money or not. And some people may say, you know what, hats off to you. Good for you. She owed you money, you got yours. But then there are other people like me who think what you did was despicable. You volunteered to be a payee. A payee is someone who volunteers to help someone else who the federal government identifies as someone who is at risk, who doesn't exactly know how to handle the distribution of funds that they are receiving. You volunteered to do that job, sir. And you stole her money. You should be ashamed of yourself, but you are going to pay her back $2,094 judgment for the plaintiff.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Whose job was it to take the trash out?
She called me and said they can't come get the dumpster.
Little did I know that he was gonna put whole trees in the dumpster with clumps of clay, all kind of asphalt.
You were asking me, have you ever had this happen before? And I said, no, I don't ever use dumpsters.
The yard was a hot mess.
Now you know for next time. And so this is a learning process.
And later, these BFFs take the law into their own hands.
I felt his car hit mine once, bounce off, and then hit again. He was driving still, so I was like, go, and she wasn't moving. She was like in shock.
You were telling her to go, like, chase him down?
Plaintiff Tanisha Moore Beatty says she hired the defendant to remove debris on the playground at her new Dream Daycare facility, but he never completed the job. She's suing for the return of her deposit and related fees. Defendant Roger Waymeyer says he completed the work, and the plaintiff is just mad because she had to pay to haul away the debris. He is countersuing for the balance owed on the job.
Remain seated and come to order. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Your Honor, this case is Moore Beatty versus Waymeyer.
Thank you, Barbara. Tanisha Moore Beatty?
Yes.
You are suing the defendant, Roger Waymeyer, for $3,000 for the return of a deposit and related fees for a landscaping job you said he did not complete?
Yes.
And Mr. Waymeyer, you are countersuing for $2,000, the remainder of the contract that you say she owes you on that landscaping job?
That's correct.
Okay. Ms. Moore Beatty, we'll start with you. What happened here?
I decided to open a daycare, a child care center, and about in 2010, I decided to purchase a building.
Okay, did you actually open the daycare center?
No, we never opened it. We were doing all the construction, and with all these janky contractors, like, we had so much problems, like lost so much money with people getting deposits and not doing their job. Anyway,
Your Honor, it wasn't
as I was saying, I was following my dream. I did everything that I was supposed to do.
Well, let's back up for a second. How did you entered into a contract with the defendant for landscaping,
yes,
correct?
Yes.
Okay, when was that?
That was in 2012.
Now, did you know him or did you know his work prior to that?
No.
How did you find him?
He was referred by another person who could not do the work. This other guy, he was a little older. So he referred Roger to me saying, you know, I don't do this anymore, but I have someone that would be great. He's professional, he's great. And
what did you hire the defendant to do?
I hired him to create my playground area. What he was supposed to do was remove all the gravel from the yard. The yard was a mess. The whole building was a complete gut out. And so I gave him the benefit of the doubt when he gave me that outrageous $5,500 bid. Like, seriously.
Well, did you get bids from other people?
Yes.
Okay, but you chose him.
I chose him because he was somebody who had a company. He wasn't someone that's just riding along on his bike, you know, and said, hey, can I cut your grass?
Mr. Waymire, you do have a company?
Yes,
Okay, and how long have you been in the landscaping business?
20 years.
Do you do landscaping mostly in the St. Louis area?
Yes.
This is where the breakdown in this case came, right? So you hired him and he's doing work and he removes the debris from the yard, and where is it placed?
I had a dumpster there, as I stated, when I was doing other contractor work. So another contractor had me bring in a dumpster to put the debris from tearing out the walls and all of that. Roger sees the dumpster. He said, can I use your dumpster? I'm like, sure, you're a contractor. Everyone else is using it. Why not? Little did I know that he was gonna put whole trees in the dumpster with clumps of clay, all kind of asphalt. Like, it was over the limit by like 30 tons or so.
And so how did you know that?
I call Allied, tell them to come pick up the dumpster because we can't fit any more of the construction stuff.
Let's see the photo. Okay, so that's the dumpster, right?
That's the dumpster in the middle of the yard.
And I see that's the work that he did with the sod around it, and then there's the brown dirt area where you're supposed to pull the dumpster out and remove it.
Yes.
So they say they can't pick it up.
They said
what do
they
you
could
do?
not pick it up. They sent another dumpster out.
She called me and said they can't come get the dumpster. It's too heavy. Have you ever had this happen before? And I said, no, I don't ever use dumpsters.
Okay, so you've never used a dumpster and then you filled this one up.
And I was trying to help her, so I said, why don't I call around to see if someone is telling you the truth? I was trying to call around to see if somebody was telling me.
How was that helping me?
Because you were asking me that it was possible for a dumpster to not be able to be picked up.
Sir, you want to explain to me what I'm looking at here?
This was the playground area that we were working in after the dumpster's gone. I don't know how long after we left that this picture
But this was the area that you did not put the sod, right?
Well, the area we didn't put the sod's right on the corner, where the rock is. We had laid sod all the way around it. The first picture captures, you could see all the brand new sod.
I saw that on the first photo.
Yes.
Okay.
And so then whenever...
Do we have another photo?
Oh, yes. This is the new landscaper, the one that did it correctly. He dug all this, you see all this asphalt and sod and rock and gravel and bricks. This was under the dumpster.
Coming up, did her daycare dream get ditched with a dumpster?
No, this is my favorite. Oh, well, call me when you get that problem situated.
She called me 50 times saying that this was my problem and I needed to help her.
And later, did they take it too far when she ran after his car?
I got out of the car and I ran after the car.
I think you're a good friend, but there are better options than getting out on the highway, running down the street to catch someone.
Plaintiff Tanisha Moore Beatty says she hired the defendant to remove debris, but he never completed the job. She's suing for the return of her deposit and related fees. Defendant Roger Waymire says he did complete the work. He is countersuing for the balance owed on the job.
Is there anything in addition to what I just said as stated on the contract?
She called me 50 times while the dumpster was still there, saying that this was my problem and I needed to help her resolve the problem.
So, ma'am, you're suing for $600 in dumpster labor. What's that about?
His brother, the one that came out, $350 to come out and do his job. Because the last time I checked, I was the director of a daycare.
And
not
where's the rest of the
landscaper.
$600 come in for dumpster labor?
We had to end up paying another guy $250.
Okay.
And he was the one who finally got the stuff to where we can move the dumpster.
And what are the waste fees about?
So I paid the $389. And so I was holding him responsible for the other
Those
$400.
are the fees that they charged you for overfilling the dumpster.
For being overfilled. Now, mind you, that wasn't the amount of how much I paid. They charged me over The amount of the overage was $789.
And you also, in addition to that, you hired somebody else to come. Is the landscaping's finished
Yes.
now, right?
Oh, no. They came out again. They could not move it. No, this is my favorite. Oh, well, call me when you get that problem situated. Yeah, call me when you handle that. When I handle it, foolishness, it's not for me to handle.
So what took you so long? Because this happened in 2012. What took you so long to file a lawsuit?
Well, I started the whole daycare dream. Right after all of this mess, I got diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. So I shut it down. I shut everything down. We had lost so much money. I had to fight for my health. I had to fight for my job. I had to fight for my dream. You know, I had to go through chemo, and it was almost 2 years that I had to go through chemo because my stage was there.
So are you doing better now?
I am.
You
I'm
certainly
actually
look wonderful.
Thank you. I'm actually doing fine. I'm on a chemo pill now. So that's why I decided to get up out of my sorry bed, feeling sorry for myself, and I started fulfilling my dream again. And then when I got the new landscaper, and the landscaper was telling me everything that this landscaper did wrong, I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna let him get away with this. You've been in this business too long for this type of foolery. I'm just saying, like, how is this my problem?
How much did she pay you total? How much did she pay you total?
She paid me $2,000.
Okay, and how much do you say she still owes you?
$2,000 too much.
Well, I agree that I did not complete the job 100% because.
Okay, so you're suing for $2,000.
Correct.
Instead of the full, I think it's $3,000 left, right?
So you think your work was worth $4,000? What moon did you, what?
When she agreed to the $5,500, the bid that I gave her, she's the one that told me to fill up the dumpster. She did not want to pay to have dump trucks haul the dirt away. When we finished the whole job, we did all the removal, took a couple days. I called her, said, move your dumpster.
Let me just stop you there, because I think I've heard enough here. You know, you've been in the landscaping business 20 years, right? Over 20 years. And you obviously came highly recommended by someone else who referred you to her. But something you said today stood out to me, and I think that it's pretty significant in this case, and that is you've never worked with dumpsters before and used dumpsters in your landscaping business before.
That is accurate.
You're doing landscaping work, and a client tells you, well, just use this dumpster. You can use things and fill this dumpster up. And you've never worked with dumpsters before. I mean, she's trying to be helpful, but she doesn't know what that means. She doesn't know how much debris is going to weigh or even how much debris there will be. You're the professional. I really believe that with the issue with the dumpster, it fell under your job duties and responsibilities to haul off the debris. And if you didn't know the dumpster was going to be an issue, you should have known, I can't put this stuff in a dumpster. I have to take it to a landfill, even if it's in another county. I mean, it's your job to do that research.
Well, the bid would have been a lot higher.
I wanted to put it a lot higher.
I wanted to put it in I wanted to put it in my dump truck.
Somebody that was a lot cheaper that would have removed the debris.
If the bid would have been a lot higher, now you know for next time. And so this is a learning process. I mean, you've been in business for 20 years. We learn things every day, right? Life is about lifelong learning. So now you know for next time when you deal with dumpsters. So I'm going to deny your counterclaim for $2,000 for the amount owed on the contract because you never actually completed the work. I'm going to order you to pay $1,000 for the dumpster labor and waste fees to the plaintiff because that really wasn't her responsibility. I find that was a part of your job responsibilities and duties. In addition, you are suing to get your $2,000 deposit back that you paid to the defendant. I'm not going to order him to pay you the full deposit back because he did a significant amount of work on the yard. I'm going to order you to refund her $1,000 in terms of that deposit. So my total judgment in this case is for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,000 plus her court costs. Good luck.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Plaintiff Shauna Rui says the defendant hit her car while crossing into her lane without a turn signal. She's suing for damages to her car. She is accompanied in court today by her friend, Sivan Costa. Defendant Matthew Raymond says the plaintiff sped up when she saw his turn signal and hit his truck. He's countersuing for damages to his vehicle.
Ms. Rui, you are suing the defendant for $4,011 in damages to your car as a result of an accident you say he caused. Mr. Raymond, you say the accident was her fault, so you don't owe any money, and you're countersuing for $95 for damages to your truck. Who's your witness here with you today?
My friend Savon.
Was she in the car?
Yes, she was.
Okay, we'll start with you. What happened?
I picked her up from her house. It was her birthday, so we're headed over to a coffee shop. They give you a free drink on your birthday, whether it's a smoothie or coffee or energy drink. And we're driving down Madison. We passed Hemlock. The light was green, so we didn't have to stop or anything.
What kind of street is Madison? Is it a highway or a residential area? How would you describe it?
It's like a main street. It's like a main street.
How many lanes of traffic?
Three on both sides. So we pass the cross street Hemlock, and all of a sudden, all I see is his white Ford pickup truck coming over into my lane. I honked my horn at least 3 times before I just laid on my horn. I felt his car hit mine once, bounce off, and then hit again. I stopped the car, and this is when Savon, she got out of my car. She's wearing a dress and flip-flops.
Well, why don't you tell me what you did?
When she stopped, I looked over at her, and he was driving still. So I was like, go, and she wasn't moving. She was like in shock.
You were telling her to go, like, chase him down?
Go get him.
Oh,
and
okay.
she wasn't moving. She wasn't moving, so I got out of the car and I ran after the car. And
You ran in the street?
I ran on the sidewalk.
Oh, on the sidewalk?
I'm
Okay.
5 foot and I'm in this long dress. It's my birthday. I'm in flip-flops. I'm trying to chase after him. I run a few feet and I'm pointing for him to go and turn into a parking lot. He finally turns into a parking lot. Well, as he parks, I'm standing there. I said, "What is your problem? What was your deal?" And he goes, "Well, you hit me."
So were you leaving the scene of an accident, sir?
No. It's a minor accident, and in a minor accident, you don't stop in the middle of the road.
So you were just trying to drive somewhere where you could pull over safely?
Next on Judge Faith.
Now, I found something interesting in this police report. There was a witness who was interviewed at the scene. Have you seen this police report?
No, I have not.
Plaintiff Shauna Ruwe says the defendant hit her car while crossing into her lane. She's suing for damages to her vehicle. Defendant Matthew Raymond says the plaintiff sped up and hit his truck. He's countersuing for damages to his vehicle.
Let's hear your side.
So we're at an intersection, and I'm in the middle lane. She's in the right-hand lane.
So you saw her in the right-hand lane. You were driving in the middle lane. You saw her in the right-hand lane, and you needed to get over because you wanted to make a right turn.
That's my intentions.
Okay,
yeah.
so you accelerated.
I accelerated. I got ahead.
And now, so when you try to get over, do you turn on your blinker, your signal?
Yeah, after about 2 car lengths ahead.
No, he did not. Hold on a second, ladies.
After about 2 car lengths ahead, I turned on my signal, and I'm merging over. Then I've got a clear path to get in. At that time, as soon as I turned my signal on, she sped up on me. Now, I'm already moving over into the right lane in front of her. There's a car to the left of me now that sees what I'm doing and wants to take over my lane. So now I'm kind of stuck in a pickle, and my truck is in the middle of the white line, the striped white line, between the middle lane and the far right lane. So she's in the far right lane. I'm in the middle of the white line, and there's a car next to me that wants to take my spot.
Here's what's happening. She has the right of way in the lane that she's driving in. She just does. And if she doesn't want to let someone in front of her, she doesn't have to. And what bothers me is you saw her in the right lane. It's not like you didn't see her car and you got over. You actually saw her car in the right lane. Now, I found something interesting in this police report that I want to share with you. There was a witness who was interviewed at the scene. Have you seen this police report?
No, I have not.
This witness said that you tried to pass her car on the road and that she started blowing her horn and that she was laying on her horn blowing it, but you tried to get over anyway. So it's really hard for me to believe that another witness who doesn't know anyone here in this courtroom today would say and tell the police about her blowing her horn to try to prevent you from getting over, and you come into court today and say, well, I didn't hear a horn, I don't know anything about that.
I have a hard time with that, Your Honor.
Well, I'm sorry that you do, because she has the right of way to drive in the right-hand lane. And if you saw her, like you say you did, and this witness says that she was blowing her horn, you should not have tried to get over. I think you have a big truck, and you probably think you own the highway, and you wanted to get over because you knew you needed to make a right-hand turn, and you were going to try to force your way over, and you wanted them to slow down, and they didn't. That's what I think happened, sir.
I never saw a witness there when we were being interviewed by the police department when they
It doesn't
showed
matter
up.
what you saw. Perhaps they came afterwards. That doesn't matter. That's not relevant.
And now, Judge Faith rules.
First, on your counterclaim, I find you responsible for this accident. So on your counterclaim, 0. Let me explain something to you about damages. I've ruled on the issue of liability. The second issue is damages. How much does he have to pay you? Typically, when people come into court and they have an estimate, they haven't actually paid for damages. I assume you didn't have insurance, or you only had liability insurance?
Yeah, we only had the basic.
Okay, so liability insurance doesn't cover if you have damages to your car in an accident, correct?
Yes.
Miss Witness, I think you're a good friend because you tried to help your friend, but I would caution you from getting out of a car, running after people. You guys have cell phones, right? There are better options than getting out on the highway, running down the street to catch someone. This was a fender bender. You know, you don't have to pursue the perpetrator. Let the police do that, okay? I know that you're suing for $4,011 in damages, but typically when you come into court, people come in and they bring 2 or 3 estimates. So I know that this one estimate isn't just from a family friend, or the prices aren't inflated, or the damages aren't inflated, because here I see there are a lot of things included in this estimate, and I'm just not sure that they're a part of this car accident and what I'm looking at now, okay?
Okay.
So in terms of damages, I'm going to sort of do a little finagling here and reviewing this document, and my verdict in this case is for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,000. Good luck, folks. Thank you.
A giant storm and a fashion show are just too much for these cupcakes.
The whole event was we were kicking off our college tour at Clark Atlanta with a fashion event. I didn't know it was a fashion show till the week of, when she sent me a flyer and it said fashion show.
How is that very different from what you thought it was?
Because I mean, if you think about it, people are in there for 2 hours to look at people walk down the catwalk. Who's gonna be eating cupcakes?
She does have a point, but.
And later, a bumper bruise in Big Bear.
I was driving on Big Bear Boulevard when I was hit by the defendant, rear-ended.
My insurance had lapsed because I'm a single mom and I was in 2 months behind on rent.
But they didn't tell you that they weren't going to hold you responsible for the damage.
Plaintiff Katrina Williams-Gooding is suing an event planner for the refund of a vendor's fee after the event was canceled. Defendant Jasmine Bird says she was forced to change the date and is countersuing for defamation.
Remain seated and come to order. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Your Honor, this is Williams-Gooding versus Bird.
Thank you, Barbara. Katrina Williams-Gooding.
Yes, ma'am.
You are suing the defendant Jasmine Bird for $300, the return of a vendor's fee.
Yes, ma'am.
And you are countersuing, ma'am, for defamation of character in the amount of $500?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Williams-Gooding, you have a business called Sweet Heaven Cupcakes.
That's right.
And you paid the defendant $300 to participate in an event as a vendor?
Yes.
Okay, so why don't you tell me how all this started?
Well, I've been in the cupcake business altogether for about 3 years. I started my own business, Sweet Heaven Cupcakes, about a year ago. I've never had any issues as far as being a vendor or selling or anything like that until this incident with Ms. Bird. She contacted me on January 23rd via email. She told me that she was having an HBCU college tour event, which was misleading.
When you say HBCU, you mean that's a historically black college or university?
Right.
Tour, okay.
So, of course, I agreed and I was excited, being that it was an HBCU college tour thing. She told me that the whole vendor fee was $300 and that I would need to do a $100 deposit in order to reserve my space as a vendor.
And what would you be doing as a vendor at the
Selling
event?
cupcakes.
Okay, and what was the specific information for the event, the date, time, and location?
The date was February 22nd, 2014. The location was at Clark Atlanta University.
Okay, so you didn't know her before she contacted you?
No,
So how did that happen?
I have a social media page, and she saw my pictures in my page, and she was interested, so then that's how she contacted me via email.
What kind of social media? Was it Instagram or?
Instagram.
Okay.
So the first date was on February 1st. A week before that, I told her that I had the deposit and I was able to pay the $100 deposit. She told me that she didn't have a car and that I would need to, if it was possible for me to give it to her sister who was at work. I go to meet her sister on February 1st. Her sister had no clue who I was when I got there. She didn't know what I was doing there, what my name was, or anything. Jasmine hadn't told her anything.
You were going to pay the $300 vendor fee?
The $100 deposit. But she didn't, she told me that her sister was her business partner, but yet she knew nothing about me and why I was there and what I was paying this money for.
Is your sister your business partner?
She works as the production manager of my company, and she lived closer to her.
And did you just forget to tell her that she was coming?
I do have, and that there's an objection. I do have a car. And it was bad weather in Atlanta during that time. We were going through a lot of snowstorms. And so I wasn't able to, my tires didn't have traction at the time. So I wasn't going to risk.
But did your sister know she was coming?
No,
issue.
I didn't text her to tell her because I was probably doing something else at the time.
So you just forgot?
Yes.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
So I gave her sister the $100 deposit money order, also some samples of my cupcakes. She contacted me via text, told me that she loved the cupcakes, she got the deposit.
The defendant did?
Yes,
okay.
Jasmine did. She then told me that I needed to pay the remainder balance before February 22nd, which was the event. Leading up to that time.
How many cupcakes were you supposed to make for this event? How many people were supposed to be there? Clark Atlanta is a huge school.
She told me that it was gonna sell out and it may be thousands of people. So that's why I was like, jump on it. You know what I mean? This would like really get my business out there.
So Ms. Bird, what kind of business are you in? Do you organize events like this?
Yes, I organize events. The whole event was we were kicking off our college tour at Clark Atlanta with a fashion event. And so we solicited for vendors to come out and participate within the fashion event to sell their goods and their items before the people go in or during the intermission of the event.
Where were the people coming from? From the various HBCUs in the area?
From all of the schools. She would have sold out because they're kids and they love cupcakes.
So how many So how many cupcakes were you planning to make?
I was planning to make about 2,000.
Wow, and you were gonna do that on your own, by yourself?
On my own.
Wow, that's a lot of work. How long would it take you to make 2,000 cupcakes?
Probably about 2 or 3 days.
Wow. Okay.
I also want to add in too, before I continue that, and I have an email here that you can see from Jasmine. She said nothing about a fashion show. I didn't know it was a fashion show till the week of when she sent me a flyer and it said fashion show. And I can give.
But how is that very different from the fact that it was a fashion show involved? How is that very different from what you thought it was?
Because I mean, if you think about it, what females are gonna eat at a fashion show? That's for 2 hours. I mean, for real though. Like, I mean, people are in there for 2 hours to look at people walk down the catwalk. Who's gonna be eating cupcakes?
She does have a point, but
I know I wouldn't, because I wouldn't want my stomach to poke out of my cute little dress or shirt. You know what I mean? So it was like, but I had already spent like over 1,000 in supplies. So I'm like, I can't back out now. You know what I mean? I might as well just go with it and pray that I can at least just get my money that I spent back.
So you took her the remainder of the $150 prior to the date of that event, February 22nd.
$200. I took it to her on February 17th.
Coming up on Judge Faith.
We ended up rescheduling the event for April 24th, and we invited the rest of the vendors to take part in that event. Every vendor that was a part of the event on the 22nd of February participated minus Katrina.
Great.
And later.
Citizen Patrol showed up, a sheriff showed up, and they all were talking about their own fender benders, and the dad said, don't worry about it, this happens, it's a little tender bender, and that's what insurance is for.
Plaintiff Katrina Williams-Gooding is suing an event planner for the refund of a vendor's fee. Defendant Jasmine Bird says she was forced to change the date.
Was there a written agreement between the two of you, or was this all verbal?
This was all verbal until the 17th, when I asked for something in writing. There were just a couple of things that happened that just made me really eerie about the situation. She was just really like, she was just unprofessional, period. The first thing was me going to meet her sister. Her sister had no clue who I was, but yet that's your business partner. That was just weird to me. The second thing was we were supposed to meet and she couldn't do that as well. So at that point, she said, you can come to my house, here's my address. And I said, I'll be there after work. I drove there after work. I get to her house. She comes outside at the car. She's on the phone in her bathrobe.
You didn't put the people on hold or anything?
I put him on mute.
And then I handled the transaction with her. But it's not like you came to my house. And I feel like if I'm in my house, I should be free to wear what, if I wanted to come outside. However, that's my house. You know, we were still going to handle the business at hand. The business at hand was the money transaction.
And the two of you don't have anything in writing. So you have this event. How many vendors did you have for this event?
We had close to 10.
And no, you don't put anything in writing with any of your vendors?
Yeah, I did. I had sent a packet out of information. Did I not send you a packet of information?
She sent the packet, but it wasn't a contract.
So the
she
packet
said that it was a tour to 5 different colleges, and it wasn't. It was a fashion show at one.
Because here's what ends up happening. So you pay her the $300, and then tell me what happens with the event. It doesn't take place on that date, right?
The event, well, what happened was a week or two prior, Atlanta had a snowpocalypse. Like the whole city was shut down.
Right, I remember that.
There were people was parked on the side of the road. It was so many snowstorms that just kept reoccurring. So what ended up happening was the school, we had an arrangement with the school to have the event on that day.
On February 22nd.
On February 22nd. Am I allowed to show?
Yes, please. Barbara, would you hand me that?
And we had the event scheduled for that date. But Clark Atlanta, the week prior to, the whole AUC, which is Morehouse, Spelman, and Clark Atlanta, they had a family weekend where the parents of the students come down and they just spend a whole weekend. They canceled it due to the snowstorm. So they rescheduled it during the date of that event.
They rescheduled the family weekend on this date.
On that particular weekend.
Okay.
And so when it came to us trying to get a room, a venue, they shut everything down by president's order. So we couldn't there was nothing that we could do.
So then you asked for a refund, correct? Of your $300?
Right.
Okay, so my question is, why didn't you give her back the $300?
Because we ended up rescheduling the event for April 24th. And we invited the rest of the vendors to take part in that event. Every vendor that was a part of the event on the 22nd of February participated minus Katrina.
Great. Well, that's her choice.
And it is. But at the end of the day, our money was already allocated towards other things, and
that's not how you do business.
Thank you.
What's your counterclaim about?
Well, she speaks about me being unprofessional. However, her emails were unprofessional.
Okay.
I specifically told her that we were rescheduling the event. She informed me that she had no idea about that when I had sent her emails indicating that. Then she defames my character by going to ask other vendors if they got their refunds. And they come into me like, we have a young lady that's reaching out to us and she's asking us, did we get our refund?
So you didn't like that she asked other vendors if they were getting money back because she wasn't getting her money back, right?
Right.
When did you notify her that the event was not going to take place on February 22nd?
I notified everybody on the 19th of February.
I mean, that's 4 days, 3 days before the event. That obviously puts you in a bad position, but that puts your vendors in a bad position as well because she's probably already bought a lot of stuff to start making cupcakes. How much did you spend?
I spent about $1,200.
To make the cupcakes, and I mean, it's 3 days before. So if she's prepared, she has that stuff ready to go. So it seems at a minimum, if someone came to you and said, you know, hey, I just want my $300 back. This is someone that you probably want to continue to work with. I mean, these universities, I went to Southern University for law school, another HBCU in Baton Rouge. A lot of people know each other. There's a huge network of people in the HBCU network. In your answer, I know you said it was an act of God. It was an act of God. The snow apocalypse happened, and it was an act of God. Well, with contracts, when you have an agreement, which I do find this to be an oral contract, you can't add terms and try to change the contract after the fact when things aren't working out for you. Okay? That's not how it works. You're trying to change the rules in the middle of the game. So I want to say a couple of things. First of all, the fact that you all are young, living in Atlanta, you have your own businesses, you're trying to make it and do your own things in the spirit of entrepreneurship, I applaud you. I think that's great, okay? But on your counterclaim, you have not proved defamation of character, so your counterclaim is dismissed, but you do have to pay the plaintiff back the money that she gave you to be a vendor in that event. Judgment in this case for the plaintiff, $300.
Thank you.
Plaintiff Rachel Negretti is suing another driver for her insurance deductible and gas costs following a car accident. She is accompanied in court by her father, Socorro Negretti. Defendant Melissa Parham says the plaintiff stopped suddenly, causing the accident.
Rachel Negretti, you are suing the defendant Melissa Parham for $600, $500 for a car insurance deductible, and $100 for gas cost as a result of a car accident.
That is correct.
Okay, tell me what happened.
On February 15th, I was driving on Big Bear Boulevard, bumper-to-bumper traffic. It was President's Weekend.
What kind of car were you driving?
I was driving a 2013 Honda Fit.
Okay.
And I was getting ready to slow down. Traffic was in front of me when I was hit by the defendant, rear-ended.
Okay, and what happened?
I got into the center lane, put on my emergency blinkers, very upset. Got out of my car just to see the damage that was caused to my car, and I couldn't believe what I saw.
Do you have photos of the damage?
I do.
Can I see it?
Of course.
Did you call the police at the scene?
I did not.
Okay, why?
Because nobody was injured. But maybe like 10 minutes later, sheriffs did show up.
Next on Judge Faith.
She came to an abrupt stop, and I didn't have enough time to react. I pressed on my brakes, and it was too late. I already had hit her. I looked at the damage. The damage was worse on my car.
Plaintiff Rachel Negretti is suing another driver for her insurance deductible following a car accident. Defendant Melissa Parham says the plaintiff stopped suddenly, causing the accident.
Okay, you admit to rear-ending the plaintiff's car. What happened?
As she was saying, on February 5th, I was coming home from work, and the town was filled with tourists. It was a holiday weekend, and we were going about 10 miles just before the accident occurred because of the congestion of the road, and she came to an abrupt stop. And I didn't have enough time to react. I pressed on my brakes, and it was too late. I already had hit her, and my grill of my car fell off, and you can hear it crash in the streets as cars ran over it. She got over, I got over into the middle island. I looked at the damage. The damage was worse on my car. She was crying, and I asked her if she was okay. That was my first response. Are you okay? She said she was okay. And we both looked at our cars. She started it, I believe she called her dad first. He may have told her to take pictures of the car. She was taking pictures.
Did you take photos? Do you have photos of the damages?
I do.
Okay, let's see those. Okay, so this is your car before or after the accident?
After.
Okay, and the damage is where, on the rear bumper?
It is.
And that's a close-up of the damage?
Yes.
And did you have insurance on your car?
I did.
Was the insurance able to cover fixing the cost of the vehicle?
Not all of it. I had to pay the deductible.
Which is $500, which is what you're suing for today?
Exactly, yes.
Okay, and let me see the defendant's car. You submitted photos as well? Okay, that's the front of your car. Where's the damage on the front?
I lost the grill in the middle, and the left where it's lifted, those were falling out, my side headlights, and one fell off while driving. I no longer have it. And then the license plate is actually dented in, and then my hood, I cannot lift it unless someone pulls it from the inside and the outside.
Okay, did you get your car fixed?
No, I haven't. I can't afford it.
Do you have insurance?
My insurance had lapsed because I'm a single mom, and I was in 2 months behind on rent, and I didn't know my insurance had lapsed, so I got home and called. But one thing also, when the scene happened, she called her dad. He showed up, Citizen Patrol showed up, a sheriff showed up, and they all knew each other because they all work for the city. And they all were talking about their own fender benders, and the dad said, "Don't worry about it, this happens, it's a little tender bender," and that's what insurance is for.
Step up, Dad?
So that made me feel more at ease.
So it's your position that they were sort of telling you to forget about this?
They were just being very kind and talking about, the Citizen Patrol was talking about when they hit a deer, and the dad was very nice and saying, "Don't worry about it, this happens, things like this happen." That's what.
But they didn't tell you that they weren't going to hold you responsible for the damage, correct?
When I got home, I called my insurance and found out it had lapsed.
Okay.
I felt very frustrated. That made me feel more like, oh no, what do I do?
And now, Judge Faith rules.
Let me hear from you, sir. Okay. What happened at the scene?
Okay, on February 15, I received a phone call from my daughter saying that she was in an accident. So I was really concerned. I asked her if she was okay. She said that she was fine. So I immediately ran to the rescue. So I got there.
First car accident?
First car.
For car accident and brand new car. And I got there and I went to her and I asked her if she was okay. She said that she was fine. Then I went to her and I asked if she was okay. She said she was fine. And then a few minutes later, the police showed up because I had called them.
Okay. Fortunately for you, since you didn't have insurance, they did have insurance and it covered everything except for the $500 deductible. If you hit someone from behind, it's virtually never their fault, regardless of why you stopped. What's the $100 in gas costs you're suing for?
$100 because it was inconvenient. I was without my car for 3 weeks.
Okay, so you don't get that, but my judgment in this case is for the plaintiff in the amount of $500 plus court cost.
A dispute over who should pay for a damaged horse trailer.
My right rear bumper hit the right front of the trailer. We called Jimmy. He's like, oh, don't worry about it. Can you still use it? We said, yeah.
Defendants are lying.
Jimmy, are you going to go down that road, really? Are you ready for this?
My question to you guys, why don't you think you owe the $2,000?
And later, these tenants had no idea their former landlady was a wanted woman.
My son ran upstairs and said, Dad, the police got Mom on the ground. They come there, get down, get down, get down. Get down.
They were telling you to get
down? Yeah, get down, get down, get down. I guess she's using my address. And they like, you Latoya? I'm like, no, I'm Victoria Hairstyle.
Were the police looking for you, man?
Plaintiff Jimmy Scruggs says the defendants returned his rental trailer in terrible condition and now refuse to pay for damages. Co-defendants Seth Thomas and Kevin Becker say their insurance already paid the plaintiff, so they don't owe him anything. They are countersuing for defamation of character.
Remain seated and come to order. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Your Honor, we have Scruggs versus Becker and Thomas.
Thank you, Barbara. Jimmy Scruggs,
yes.
You are suing the defendants Kevin Becker and Seth Thomas
yes, ma'am.
for $3,519 for damage you say they caused to your horse trailer.
Yes, ma'am.
And you all are countersuing for $1,000 for defamation of character?
That's correct, ma'am.
Okay, so we'll start with you, Mr. Scruggs. What happened here?
One of them called me in regards to a posted ad I have on Craigslist. I rent a horse trailer, and he said he needed it for Friday, and they have an appointment with a vet. They're carrying a donkey. Kevin says, well, it's $35 a day. I said, no, you must be looking at the old ad. If you look at something presently, it's $100 a day.
No, there was only one ad.
There was one ad.
There was
for
one ad.
$35 a
There's
day.
only
Okay,
no
so
one rents
go ahead.
trailers.
Defendants are lying, like they've held off on the money all
Okay,
these
here we
years.
go.
You know,
Oh, wow.
it's their nature.
Jimmy, are you going to go down that road, really? Are you ready for this? Here we
Don't
go.
have a problem.
All
Don't
right,
have a
I
problem
can't
with
wait.
it.
Okay, gentlemen.
Can't wait for my turn.
So we own a ranch. We operate a large organic farm where we do produce.
The two of you?
Yes, we do organic beef. We do organic goats.
What part of Texas?
It's actually called Farmersville. Go
Okay.
figure.
It's an hour outside of Dallas.
Yeah, just a little bit north. We do organic, like I said, organic vegetables, everything. We do homemade soaps out of goat milks. We do everything there.
So you take, and I know you disagree with that price, but let's go on. What
Okay.
happens? You take the trailer.
So we take the truck. I'm sorry, I got to back up. When I left the horse boarding place where we picked it up, I made a wrong turn 5 minutes after being off of there. I had to pull on a country mode.
We were
turn
cracking
around.
up laughing about actually our conversation with Jimmy for the last 2 hours.
So I made
There
a
was
left
3 of
turn.
us in the car, and we were cracking up because it was the weirdest experience we've ever had. So we cracked up and missed our turn.
So I go back and back it back up, and I jackknifed, and my right rear bumper hit the right front of the trailer. Going a half a mile an hour, I was literally backing up. Soon as it hit, Steph, who was out there, said, stop.
Did you take any photos of the damage?
Unfortunately, we did not because it wasn't that bad. We called Jimmy. He's like, oh, don't worry about it. Can you still use it? We said, yeah.
So you all go on after that. You have the conversation with him. You go on and take Jack to the vet.
The vet wanted to do the castration in this trailer because it was really tight. The reason why I didn't bring mine is because there was too much room for Jack to move around in there. Okay. When you're doing this, they don't anesthetize him. They don't give him any pain kills.
All they do is
tie him to the side of the wall and bleed him out.
So Jack was castrated in my trailer?
Jack was castrated in your trailer. And then I
Y'all
cleaned
did not
it with
ask for
sterile.
that.
Where's Jack the donkey
Jack
at that
passed
point?
away. Jack didn't make it.
How long after the castration did Jack die?
2 weeks.
2 weeks?
He died?
I'm sorry that happened to Jack. Okay, that's unfortunate.
Coming up, What did these guys do that has Judge Faith calling their bluff?
I'm not going to take your word for it. I want the proof. You don't have it. You don't have it. It doesn't exist to me.
And later, these ladies turn up the crazy in court.
I have went over there and they had the dog
That's why I
locked
picked the
in
house.
the garage, okay?
How did they make you kill your dog?
Plaintiff Jimmy Scruggs says the defendants returned his rental trailer in terrible condition and now refuse to pay for damages. Co-defendants Kevin Becker and Seth Thomas say their insurance already paid the plaintiff, so they don't owe him any money. They are countersuing for defamation of character.
Did you take any photos of the damage?
I have photos of the damage.
Was this pre or post accident?
Pre.
Okay, what's the next photo?
That is the front. You see all new.
How much did you pay to have the damages
The
repaired?
estimate that their insurance company took from their adjuster was $2,520.66.
Okay, so their insurance company surveyed the damage.
Yes.
So we're here today and you're suing for $2,019.66. You say the remainder of the outstanding balance for the damages to your trailer. You said their insurance company would only pay $500. Your insurance coverage doesn't cover the remaining amount, so that's why we're here today, because we're $2,000. You say you're still out of pocket for $2,000. Okay, my question to you guys, why don't you think you owe the $2,000?
First of all, we took it back to him. And at the time when we took it back to him, Jimmy goes, oh my God, don't even worry
That's
about
not
it.
my question.
I'll go pound it out on my own. We told him about Geico and gave him our insurance
My
there.
question is, there are $2,000.
I don't think this is from Geico.
No, there is an estimate from Geico. I want you to answer the question that I'm asking.
Okay.
My question is, why don't you think, because you admit you were in an accident, your insurance company gave this estimate. He didn't go to a mechanic, someone that he knows,
But that's all we got.
one of his
That's
friends.
all we got. It's his friend. It's
Listen to what I'm saying.
Okay.
Over $2,000 in damages to the
Right.
trailer. There's $2,000 that's not covered. Why don't you think you owe that?
Because A, I don't believe that the trailer's worth it. B, the only $2,000 damage I got was an estimate from his friend for $2,000 in labor to print it out. That's all I have ever seen.
What is your defamation of character counterclaim about?
In March, we were actually dealing with some of our cattle. My Facebook started going off, just over and over again. Every customer who's ever been to my Facebook page and has bought chicken, soap, beef, whatever, has gotten a response from Jimmy saying,
do you know that, do your clients and friends know that you guys are criminals, that you steal other people's property, and then you boast about it on Facebook?
So I called
Every one of our
Facebook.
customers at
Not
SD
true.
Ranch.
Do you have any copies of the Facebook post?
We have the response
I have,
from Facebook.
Facebook was really helpful. They scrubbed the whole entire page, took anything
Deleted
down,
his
deleted
account.
his account.
Do you have any of the Facebook posts you say he posted on your page?
Just my statements back to our customers.
Okay, so
saying
you
that
don't
what he
have
did.
proof. You don't have proof of defamation for court. That's what I need for defamation.
But it
Okay.
even says we apologize for Jimmy coming
You
out
have
and
our
saying all
post
those.
where we went online and said
It was
that.
back in the
I
28th
don't.
of
Your
March.
posts don't help me. If you want to prove defamation, you have to prove that he made statements that defamed your character.
And he did.
Well,
I'm
that's why I
not.
had to go
I'm
out
not
and
going
put
to
a
take your
response
word
back
for it.
out.
I want the proof, and I want to see the Facebook post. If you don't have it, you don't have it. It doesn't exist to me. All right, based on all of the evidence that I've reviewed in this case, on your counterclaim for defamation of character, that's dismissed. You get 0. On your claim, sir, for $3,519, I find that the defendants do admit that they were in an accident in your trailer and caused damage to your trailer. I do accept the estimate that you gave me from Geico with the estimated damages to the trailer. I also credit the evidence that you gave me that Geico paid $500 towards that damage, and there's an outstanding balance of $2,019.66 due to you. My judgment in this case is for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,019.66 in addition to court costs. Judgment for the plaintiff. Have a good day.
Plaintiff LaTanya White says her former tenant trashed her rental property and then skipped out on paying the rent. But defendant Victoria Henderson says she left the house spotless, even after LaTanya forced her to put down her beloved pit bull. She's countersuing for pain and suffering and the cost of her dog. She is accompanied by Kawan Taylor.
Ms. White, you're suing the defendant for $2,600 for rent and damage to your rental property. Ms. Henderson, you claim you paid all the rent, left the house clean so you don't owe any money. And you have a countersuit for $4,000 for the cost of a dog and pain and suffering.
Correct.
Ms. White, I'll hear from you first. What's going on?
I paid a realtor company to manage my property.
Can you tell me a little bit about your property?
Yeah, it's a nice home. It's a bungalow, 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. So when I first seen them, I had transferred my mail, and I had to go over there to get the remaining of my mail.
What month was that?
That was around February.
Okay.
Around February. When I came, her husband, Kiwan, had came to the door. When he opened the door, a dog ran out. Now in the lease, it states no pets. So I didn't say anything to him. I went to the realtor, and when I talked to him, I let him know that, there
were no pets allowed.
Exactly. So he called her husband and spoke with her husband about the pet, that the pet couldn't be there.
She didn't ever tell us we could have had a pet in the house. She came over the house beating on the door.
Wait, who are you, sir?
He's lying.
I'm Kiwan Taylor.
Okay, and you're married to the defendant?
Yes.
We're not married.
Oh, okay. Well, you say yes.
We
You say no, so I'm confused.
That's what they are. They're liars.
Years.
I'm sorry?
We've been together since '99. We just never got married. Since 1999, a long time.
Okay, well, you might need to get him to put a ring on it. That's all I'm saying. That's a long time. All right, but that's none of my business. All right. So she told you at some point that she didn't want a dog in the house.
Yes, or you have to
happened?
leave. She said, there's no pets allowed on this property, or you have to leave.
Okay, so what decision did you make? Did you keep the dog or did you
No,
leave?
I had to call Humane Society. They put the dog down because it's a pit bull. I don't know why I'm here, because if the house was so messed up, she wouldn't have just sued me.
Well, I'll tell you why you're here. She said that you owe for back rent, so let's go over the months and dates that you said that she owes for. So tell me the month and year that you say she owes back rent for.
Okay, she owes for the month of April, the month of February, and the month of...
You sound like you're not sure.
I had my receipts and everything, but had I known that, I would never been able to use my evidence.
I understand what's going on with your evidence, ma'am. I understand that they asked you to submit evidence in this case numerous times, and you did not do so in a timely manner. And you came to court today with all of these receipts and a receipt book. And I'm a judge. I'm not an accountant. It's not my job to go through your receipts and try to figure out what's owed and what's not owed. So it's not my job to do that. So if you don't have the evidence in front of you as you stand at that lectern today, then I can't consider it. All right, let's go to the next item you're suing for. That is damages to the house. Do you have photos of what the house looked like prior to when the defendants moved in and after they moved out?
I have pictures of after when they moved out.
Do you have photos of what the house looked like before they moved in?
No, I don't.
Let me see the photos of after. Can you describe what's in this picture?
This is how they left the house. It was trash everywhere.
Is this what the house looked like when you moved out?
No, Your Honor. I cleaned the whole house.
As you can see, that
was
is
the cleaning supplies.
Hold on, one at a time.
That was the cleaning supplies that I packed with us. That I packed with us and took with us. When I cleaned the whole house up.
It was a hole in the wall.
Hold on one second. Who took this photo?
I did.
When was it taken?
It was taken the day that they gave me the keys. That's the stove. That's how they left the stove. That's caked up grease from them fried chicken or whatever they was frying. Grease stacked on top of grease and grease. That's how the microwave looked as well.
And did you do this to the stove?
Yes, she did it.
Okay.
How can I
The
do
problem
that?
is, you don't have pictures of what the stove looked like before they moved in. They say they didn't do this. It was a used stove, and it looked like that prior to them moving in, and you don't have proof to state otherwise.
Coming up, Judge Faith puts their performance on pause.
Okay, listen, I've heard enough. I've heard enough from everyone. When you come to court, there is order and a process. You have to abide by the rules, or else I can't consider the evidence.
Plaintiff LaTanya White says her former tenant skipped out on paying the rent. Defendant Victoria Henderson says she left the house spotless and owes the plaintiff nothing. She's countersuing for pain and suffering and the cost of her dog.
Who are you?
I'm LaTonya's husband, Charlie Smith.
In jail the whole
Okay,
time.
step up, sir. What do you have to add to this?
They didn't want to pay the money. They didn't want to move out.
They getting violent
She asked
towards
me when I was evicted.
Okay, what do you mean they got violent
Okay, they
towards
got
you?
violent. I went over there and I was talking to her about keeping the
When we
line.
got put on the ground for
keeping
the
the
police,
line
for them,
up. Can
looking
you
for them.
please be
Hold on,
quiet?
The police was looking for y'all.
Ma'am.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
The police came over to their
The police
house?
came over because they were called.
What happened when the police came?
Yes, they came there while I was taking out the garbage one morning. They come there, get down, get down,
What
get
are you
down.
talking
Get
about?
down.
We on something
They were telling you to get
Yeah,
down?
get down, get down, get down. I guess she using my address still, because that's how her mail, like she told you she come there getting her mail, so she must have still been using our address. Like, get down, get down, get down. I'm like, what? They like, you Latanya? I'm like, no, I'm Victoria Henderson. I had to go get my ID for them, show them that I'm Victoria Henderson. Well, call her up. You know, I'm like, well, this is my landlord, you know? So I called her. He went out there, he was like, cause y'all can't, you know, we can't know whatever he called her about. He was like, you will be caught, so you better come in. This is the state police, you can look it up with her name. This is the state police, it's on record somewhere.
Were the police looking for you, ma'am?
Yes.
I had to come up out the basement because the police had her on the ground outside.
What were you doing in the basement?
He had to get my ID.
Because that's where
So the police
we
weren't
be
never
at.
looking for
We
you?
be in the basement.
You were
a lot.
taking cover in the basement?
Yeah, we take cover in the basement. We be in the basement a lot because we got a TV.
No, we
it's
stay
like
in the
furniture
basement.
down there.
We stay in
had
the basement.
tables,
I got pictures.
chairs, couches, TV, everything down there.
Yes.
So when my son ran upstairs and said, Dad, the police got mom on the ground. I went up there, come upstairs, they had her on the ground. Then that's when I had to go get her ID and let them know that she's Victoria Henderson, steady, Latanya White.
So that didn't happen. What they're saying did not happen.
No.
Oh, wow.
Eventually, you had them evicted.
I did.
From the home.
I did.
Over a water bill.
No, over non-payment of rent.
Well, it sounds like from what I hear, it was best that the two of you separate anyway and you move out and find another place to live.
Yes,
and where do you
ma'am.
live now?
Yes, I stay on more beautiful home.
How much is your rent that you pay now?
$8.59. Nice home. I like nice things for me and my family.
Why are you suing for the cost of a dog?
Yes, because I had a blue pit. It was $1,000.
Why are they responsible for the cost
Because
of the
they
dog?
made me kill my dog.
She called the Humane Society out there.
How did they make you kill your dog?
Okay, she said that you will have to get out. I don't have no money like that. She like, you have to get out if you don't get rid of the dog. So that's when I called Humane Society.
You owe me. Your Honor, they had the dog locked in the garage, flies all around the garage, so it was booping in there.
Listen, I've heard enough. I've heard enough from everyone.
And now, Judge Faith rules.
First of all, I'm sorry about your dog and that you had to put the dog down, but that is not her responsibility. She has a choice as the owner and the landlord of the property to decide if she wants tenants to have pets there. And she chose to not allow that in her home. But she's not legally responsible under the law because you made that choice. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So that's why on your counterclaim for the cost of dog and pain and suffering, 0. Now let me get to your lawsuit and your claims. You are suing for back rent and late fees, damages and repairs. When you come into court and you sue, you have the burden of proof. You have to come in and establish to me month and year that they did not pay rent, month and year that they were late to rent. You can't just come in and say, well, I think it was January, I think it was March, I think it was April, but you didn't have your evidence. And I know you're saying, no, let me finish. You did not submit your evidence in a timely manner, so I could not consider that evidence. It's just like it did not exist to me. There is order and a process to the things that we do here, okay? And I understand that may not be the way you do things in your everyday life, but when you come to court, there is order and a process, ma'am, and you have to abide by the rules or else I can't consider the evidence, and you didn't. So for back rent and late fees, you did not meet your burden of proof that they owe you anything, so for that, 0. Damages and repairs. You showed me photos.
No.
You showed me photos.
No, I'm leaving.
It's fine. She can leave. She can leave because it's a part of the problem. Damages and repairs. She brought in photos of what the house looked like after. She has no before photos to show that those damages were caused by you or your husband while you lived there in the apartment. So on that claim, 0 as well. So on your counterclaim, 0. The plaintiff's case is dismissed in its entirety. Have a good day.
Thank you, Judge.